We live. Welcome back, all you beautiful people, to that We Got Action podcast. Coming at y'all with all four of us this week. It's going to be episode 48 coming at y'all. We're going to talk about some NBA, some NFL, and touch a little bit on MLB. First quarter grades came out. Shout out to the White Sox.
Man, Lions start with me.
We'll get there. We'll get there. NBA, we're going to just talk about some second round matchup predictions and then do a little bit of overview. I think between last week was that the Warriors finished up, of course.
Yep.
Friday night, the Lakers finished up the Grizzlies by 40. And that might have been it, right?
Yeah, those were like the only
Because the Heat finished it.
ones.
I guess the Celtics finished on Thursday.
Yeah.
The Celtics finished on Thursday because they lost to the Hawks last week when we were playing.
Mhm.
But yeah, so all the series, we'll go over all that. We'll talk about Harden and Joker, Steph Curry as well. 3 really good performances. Grizzlies and the Dillon Brooks saga, I guess, if you want to call it a saga.
But a saga?
It's kind of comical. Yeah, it's kind of comical, actually. And then, Danny, you got a segment, overrated, underrated. I'm sure you've got a pretty good list of players for us.
I think it's decent.
This head scratching as always.
That's decent.
And then a pretty good question. Was that Isaac? Who posed that?
Yes,
Was that you, Isaac?
sir. That was me, brother.
I like this. I like this a lot. These are my kind of guys. I feel like they're very necessary.
They're not Vitor guys.
No, Vitor actually. I don't think Vitor likes any of these guys.
No, not at all.
But they're all necessary for a title. So
I like one of them.
And then we'll touch on some NFL draft picks and then Ravens re-signing Lamar. I like the last question. Who did that one? That was another good one. Was that you, Danny?
The
top
last
5
question.
AFC quarterbacks?
Yes, I wanted it. I was like, I need a little redemption after last year.
Let's go.
I need a little redemption after last year. So.
All right.
We're
gonna see.
And then, like I said, the MLB first quarter grades. But let's go in second round matchup previews. We can just go with the one that's going on right now. This one's already 1 game deep.
Mhm.
The Heat did steal game 1 in the Garden. Again, it's Miami and New York, both underdog teams in the first round, ended up winning their matchups. Who do we got? So again, Miami. This is kind of we kind of are in a position of luxury here because we know Jimmy Butler's out, and we know that Miami is already up a game. But I'm just kind of curious where you guys are at. The Knicks again are not playing too great.
Yeah, it's my.
I think it's tied at halftime right now.
No, Miami's up by 3 right now. Yeah. I personally
Doesn't even make any sense.
I personally got Miami in this series. I think they'll win it.
Play the rest of the series.
Oh, he's gonna play. I'm not worried about Jimmy. That's Himmy right there. Himmy Butler. I know his ankle sprain is pretty bad, but I know he's the type of player that's gonna push through if he can. I think this game was a huge help because they don't play until Saturday. Same thing with Joel Embiid's situation that they got the first, and they got the first game at Boston, so you level out the home court advantage there.
He don't even need to play the second game.
Yeah, take
exactly.
Come back to Philly.
So that's why they did that. I think it's the same thing with Jimmy Butler. I think if they were down 0-1, I think he would have tried to give it a go. But I believe more in Miami's players than I do in the Knicks players. The Knicks players really haven't been in this situation, haven't really been battle tested. Granted, who their coach is, that guy's been battle tested. But I just think when it comes down to the X's and O's, Eric Spoelstra is going to outdo Tom Thibodeau when it comes down to the most important time.
I don't like the way he's splitting the minutes right now either, but that's just my opinion.
I think
but it's just how Tibbs is.
Yeah. I think he lost him that game a little bit.
The first game, right?
Yeah, I thought Brunson was out way too long in the fourth.
Too long. Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up.
Oh my gosh!
I think if he had come back in even 2 minutes earlier, I think you could have seen a different result.
And then
Brunson was supposed.
I don't understand. You got Jimmy on a busted ass ankle for 5 minutes, and you don't attack his ass.
Yeah,
like he was just hugging RJ Barrett in the corner. Get a switch onto him, or else drive.
But that's what happens with Tom Thibodeau teams.
I couldn't.
That's what happens though with Tom Thibodeau teams is that when they get down to that crunch time, it's very stagnant basketball. Like you can say that at least in the first quarter and at least the third quarter, you're running out some motion type of things. But that's just from what I've seen with Tom Thibodeau type teams is that you're gonna run your plays, but then you're gonna get down to ISO ball, and then these players are just gonna be sitting in corners. It's very predictable. Granted, he's a great defensive coach, but it's just very predictable basketball. You can't say.
But I mean,
I thought Julius
I don't
Randle
think
would
it's
help a little more tonight, but
no, I don't think he was gonna help him. I think the biggest thing in this series, the X factor, was Kevin Love to me. Why? Because Kevin Love is bringing Mitchell Robinson and those guys away from the rim, and that's just leaving the lane for them to attack. Like they were talking about it in game one. Miami is looking to attack, drive, and kick it to their shooters right away, as much as they can. If I could bring Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle away from the basket, and all I got to do is blow past the first person, drop it off to Max Strus in the corner right now, Cody, Caleb Martin right now, like those guys who's like hot right now, I'm gonna do it. And then if we can stay in the game up until like what, just the fourth quarter and let Jimmy take over, by all means, it's just set up for success in this series for Miami to win this series.
playoff
Just like
basketball.
It's playoff basketball, and it's those guys stepping up, which is right now, like if you want to say a favorite out of the East or one of those favorites, you got to put Miami in that conversation because you got their star playing really well, and all of their role players right now are playing really well. And Bam Adebayo, yeah, he might not be scoring well, but he's figuring it out on the
He looks so bad.
Yeah, he looks so bad on
good.
offense, but he's doing everything else right, which is outrageous to me. I need him if he figures it out on offense, Miami is really, really scary to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just got the pieces, man. I just believe in Spo more than I do Thibodeau. And obviously we watched Thibodeau for years and years, but I think this is a Spoelstra type of series where it's going to get down to the nitty gritty. And I believe more on the offensive side for Spoelstra than I do with Thibodeau at this point.
So let's give a prediction then. Daniel.
4-2. 4-2 Miami. Miami is 6.
That would
Miami and
close
five.
it out at home, right? Yeah, because they're the lower seed. Yeah,
Yep.
I like Miami and I like Miami and
I say 6 if Jimmy misses the next game, 5 if he comes back.
Okay.
I think they're really good at home.
yeah, because he's Miami's and Jimmy's the killer when it comes to
Fuck
road.
around, if they steal tonight, 4.
Dude, that's where I was between 4 and 6. I ain't even gonna lie.
I was like, 4 and
I wouldn't be
5 would have
surprised.
the game 2 going.
No, 4 and 6.
No,
I think if New York gets a game, they'll win that game 5 at home. If they can get either this game, maybe still win in Miami. But yeah, I'm between Heat and 4 or 6. I think it's going to be either 4 or 6.
Yeah,
I think they close it out in Miami in 4, or they close it out in Miami in 6. That's where I'm at.
I like that.
But reverse to the other Eastern Conference matchup, we had the 76ers and the Celtics. 76ers on the back of a vintage James Harden performance.
The one that you love.
And I did, because he's not in a Houston uniform. Dude, ask Carly. I was screaming at the TV, bro. He was was some
cooking
stuff, bro. That was
cooking.
Yeah, I was happy for him.
It felt so nostalgic watching that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they stole a game, which kind of, again, we were just touching on it, buys Embiid another game to sit out with the knee sprain. And that's just, the longer he can sit out, the more he can, continue this deep playoff run that they probably are poised to make.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. How are you guys feeling about this? The Celtics looked a little vulnerable against the Hawks, which is a much lesser team comparatively to the Sixers. I think the Nets are a better team than the Hawks are. That's my opinion.
I agree.
And I think the way that the Sixers handled
the better coach, and I think that played a big role in their ability to stay in these games.
Well, Trey also.
Yeah.
Trey was finally, which he
Trey
hasn't done in the last month and a half.
Yeah, but also what I'm looking at in terms of this Boston team, they went up 3-0 against Atlanta, and I feel like they got
3-1.
3-1. Got complacent. Same thing. You heard Joel Embiid was out game 1. You got complacent, and they didn't bring it to me. That same energy wasn't there. Jason Tatum played like crap to me. Like that
and
whole
he actually was their leading scorer.
Like, yeah, that
took what 20? He was 12 of 28 or something.
He almost had a 35-point triple-double, but he was very inefficient.
Yeah. Jaylen Brown had only 10 shots.
Yeah, he was like 8 or 10.
And he started the game. The first quarter, he had like 15.
Yep.
Hot.
And he only finished with like 23.
Like that. He can't fizzle out like that. You can't rely on Al Horford to guard James Harden down the stretch. I don't care what you do. You don't.
Well, you call Jaylen Brown fizzling out? You call Jaylen Brown fizzling out? Yeah, he didn't fizzle out. He didn't fizzle out. That's scheme. That's coaching right there. That's inexperience.
I mean, they tried to get him going, and he kept turning the ball over multiple times in the third and early fourth.
Which was the biggest criticism of him last year.
Last
against
There was
year.
you
multiple
the
times where he
turnovers.
could have slowed the pace down and instead chose to drive and kicked it right to a Sixers defender.
Yeah.
And I
He
feel
did it
like
on
Right.
multiple plays, and then he had an offensive charge.
It was bad. It was
It was
bad.
bad.
And then Marcus Smart tries to be that playmaker that he's not, and then look what happens. You know.
Like didn't he have 8 assists? 7, 8
He
assists?
did, but I'm saying like when
I'm just-
it's closing time minute left, you can't have that play for Marcus Smart trying to drive to the basket and then
Oh,
literally
I
try
see.
and hand it off.
Okay.
He was supposed
Stuff
to lay
like
the
that.
basketball up.
Yeah, he was
Correct.
supposed to.
But
yeah.
again, like he was trying to do too much. Like you at that point, you either go to the basket or you don't even do that at all. Just put
I'll
it
run
in
that motherfucking
Jason or
play
Jalen
again
Brown.
and tell him to lay the ball up, bro. If you're gonna get like that, lay it up.
Exactly. But I think they're in a tough position now. I think that they are vulnerable. I think you gave the Sixers life.
Mhm.
And if
We
they
talking
can at
about, we
least
talking about life. They haven't lost in the playoffs.
no, but I'm
you
saying
can't say
if
life.
they but I'm saying if they can keep if the Sixers are able to still be close in game 2 without Joel Embiid, and even if Boston plays I would say close to their best game as possible, what we know they can do, and if the Sixers stay close, I think Philly can steal this series. Most definitely.
I think Philly's the
I don't think
favorite
it's
in
a
my
steal.
opinion.
I don't think it's a steal.
But the
It's
way
a 2-3
Tobias Harris
matchup.
is playing, the way Tyrese Maxey's shooting the ball, and he was
Mhm.
actually fairly inefficient this
Mhm.
in game 1. James
Yep.
Harden can score when he needs to score, and then he creates when Joel's on the court. We ain't even talked about Joel. He hasn't even played in the series yet.
Yeah,
They got nobody to
think,
guard Joel.
Boston started 5 games ago playing defense like shit. They would put themselves as the underdogs in this series. And then you walked out and got your ass whooped in game 1. Like, they the underdogs in this series with a man like a sleeping bear ready to come back. And if they don't like pick
And
it
he
up
didn't
real
even play
soon,
great in the first against Brooklyn either. So he's
No.
got
yeah, and
he's got
he's
30
on
and
you.
15 loaded in the clip.
And you gave him what he wanted, by all means. He got his MVP award, by all means. Watch. He's going for
Man, I still hated that. I didn't like it to I didn't like this little announcement. I like give it to him at home or something like the old days.
Yeah.
Like give it to him in front of the home. I feel like just defeats it.
I
Just
do
like
agree.
it's not as
They'll
exciting.
have a ceremony for
They
it.
will.
No,
They
I
will
know,
have
but
it.
you know what I mean? Like when
It would've been cool
when they
to
announced D
announce-
Rose,
yeah.
you know,
It
type
would
of
have been cool to
stuff.
announce it like on the, have it because they are the first game tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if
They're
not at
playing in
home,
game 3.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying either in game 3 or even just at least a game he's playing.
I honestly, I
Just
don't
to
think they
receive the
care. I
trophy.
think they'd rather just
No.
have it on the sidelines and
That
just
I
video
care.
was-
I
that video
care. I'm
was
a
fun
fan.
to watch, though.
I'm
My
just saying,
my voice
I
should
care.
I think they
count.
would rather
I
just brush that aside and go win a chip. I
basically.
think Joel would trade in the MVP for a chip.
I don't know, man. Did
honestly.
you not
Harden.
watch his
I know
I
reaction?
watched the
Harden
video,
would.
but I know they would trade it in for a championship.
Oh,
I
he
trade
probably-
D Rose's MVP for a championship.
I'm sure he
I would trade
too.
his MVP for a knee or 2.
That too. That too.
But where are we
Yeah,
where are we feeling on this with the overall?
Boston.
Because I know a lot of people had Boston
I got
going into
Philly
the
in 6.
playoffs.
Well, I mean, a lot of us had Milwaukee going deep, and look at what happened. You know,
I like
Philly.
the Sixers.
I do too.
I like them
Yeah,
coming out of
but-
the playoffs. I thought this Sixers Bucks
Philly's in
I
6.
thought could have been a crazy conference finals matchup. But I like Philly right now. I'm not gonna try to downplay Boston because I do still think they're a dynamite team
Mhm.
with two guys that I mean on their night can combine for 70 easily.
I don't know, man.
But
Tatum better wake
I would
up,
be
bro.
very surprised if this doesn't go to game 7. Personally, I think it might. Man,
It
that's
should.
tough.
It should.
Yeah.
What y'all got? What y'all got? I'm here.
Philly
Go
in 6.
Philly in 7.
Who?
Philly in 7.
Ooh.
Oh man,
This
this
into
series
Philly
is
in
hard.
6.
This
I agree with Vitor. Philly in 7.
It's hard.
It just all depends on
for
how
a
game
lot
2
of
goes.
reasons because Embiid being out means we don't really know what we've seen yet, right? Like what we've seen is a one-off or
Exactly.
2.
Well, I mean, it kind of is. James going for 45. And
When's the last time he did that?
He'll do it again.
Brooklyn.
Somebody literally unearthed him.
Dude, I hope he does it again in game
They'll go
2.
Crazy.
All right, I'm gonna go with Philadelphia. I'm gonna go Philly in 5.
Oh,
Oh wow.
I'm going
Okay.
Philly in
6.
5.
Wow.
I'm going Embiid coming back games 3 through 5, averaging like 35 and 12.
Okay,
Damn.
that's
a
bold.
stat line like that.
It's a bold strat.
I mean, that's
a bold
basically
strategy,
his
Colin.
playoff stats the last 2-3 years.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
facts though.
All right, let's
Alright,
jump to
I'm
the
with it.
East. We're jump to the West. We're jumping to the West. The other game,
Man, we don't
which
need to. We don't need to.
I mean, we
talk
can
about
go. We can go to Isaacs just because
Yeah.
they're the series that's already played 2 games.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about that.
The Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns.
Oh my!
The Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns.
You mean just
the-
the Denver Nuggets?
Yeah, the Denver Nuggets against.
Devin Booker. Fuck you talking about?
Hey,
Yeah.
you know what? Basically, well, first game KD, second game Devin Booker.
Can you think of anything?
Nah,
more
still
like-
both. Could Book stay out about 30 the first game?
Yes.
Can you guys think
I
of
don't know,
anything
bro.
more NBA than Harden going off like his Houston days on the same night that Chris Paul gets hurt in the playoffs?
Hmm.
Dude, it's
Like,
fantastic.
it is the most most NBA thing I've ever seen in my life.
But, I'm gonna
You
go
know,
with I'm gonna go with Denver in 5.
Oof.
But I really want to go with a sweep.
First timeout.
I really want to go with a sweep, but
Timeout. We ain't finna. We not about to sit here and just disrespect us like this.
what are you talking about?
Y'all
We're
Hold
not
on,
doing
Isaac,
this.
what did
Okay,
you
listen,
just say to me
listen,
before we
listen,
started
listen.
recording? You said that you're gonna be a Devin Booker fan.
You know
from
what I
here on
said?
out, and now you get mad.
You know what
'cause
I
we just
said?
paid Denver.
You know what I said? You know what I really said, Danny? I said Phoenix in 6. That's what I just said. Get ready. We finna win 4 straight.
Okay, so who's gonna guard Jokic?
Himself.
Okay, who's gonna give you guys
I-
more points behind Booker and KD?
KD just got to be more efficient. I'm not worried about them. That's the
No,
issue.
they
KD
have
shot
to
like
be.
30
They
saying
have to
who's
be
gonna
God.
step
tier.
No,
They have to be God tier.
Yes.
No,
Uh-huh.
because throughout
They
these
have to
stretches,
shoot
like
80%.
time out. Throughout these stretches, where
Y'all
it's like,
put up 87 points.
oh my
Who's
god,
gonna score?
I'm not doing this, bro. We're not doing this. Okay, the issue is that I just need like 10 to 15 points
From everybody
who?
else.
as a cumulative from everybody else. That's all I need.
Brother, you are trying to win a playoff
Prime
game, scoring
example.
80
So
points.
if each guy goes for 40 apiece,
No, like the
and
game
you get
changer
10
that-
to 15,
the
you're
game
still
changer
not even at
last-
100
The
points.
game changer last night when the game was 81-84 was Josh Okogie at the fucking tip of the fucking rim wide open, and he kicks it out into a turnover technique.
Right, but that's Josh
Like-
Okogie.
Right, but I'm talking about those type of buckets when it's not a single soul around you. I just need you to put it in the cup. That's an
It's
extra
not
2
Cam
for it. That-
Johnson or Michael Bridges
I
anymore.
don't. It doesn't matter.
Oh.
Anybody can hit that front layup.
Oof.
Danny can hit a front forward layup with nobody.
Hey,
by him.
my floater game is on point. You know
I'm
that,
just saying,
Christian. You
just
know
need
that. You know
the
that.
role guys have to put a little more effort, in my opinion. Like I'm getting, and I need a consistent DA. Like he can't play game 1 DA. We
That's
just
not
gonna
gonna
get choked with it.
happen.
Come
Game
on, man.
2
That's
is
a pipe
done.
dream.
Joker's banging him on on offense
Come
so
on,
bad
man.
that he has just no energy to play
That's fine.
anything.
That is fine. The reason we're gonna win this series is because of 2 people, B-Book and KD. At the end of the day, that's all. I
You're
gotta worry
right. You're right. That is the only way you win the series.
That's all I care about. And that's
But
all
they
I
have to
matters.
average like 40.
They
That's what I'm
already
saying.
averaging 40. And I just need the 10 to 15 from the
Booker
cumulative.
actually is almost averaging 40.
Right. So I'm not worried. The series is in the valley. I'll be
I mean,
worried after game
If
3.
it goes
We go
anything
down
like
to-
Golden State also lost the first 2 games, but
but
they were
also, I'm
facing
not-
a very inexperienced Kings team.
Whose best player did fracture his
Correct.
finger in a shooting hand?
Not a team that's fully healthy
but
and
also
firing
like,
on
yeah,
all
but like,
cylinders and can beat you in
but
5
I'm
different
also-
ways.
and I'm also not worried right now. I'm a little worried, but I'm not super worried. I'm just talking about the same team. They just like almost the Warriors.
I'd be
Like,
terrified.
they great on look, they great at home and shitty on the road, folks. They 10 and 22 on the road. They just as bad on the road. Can KCP and them bring that shooting shit to Phoenix? That's what I want to see. 'Cause that's who said they ass in the
You
fourth
gotta worry
quarter.
about your team making shots first.
I
though.
know what you're talking about, bro.
I'm not worried about that. We heading to Phoenix now. I'm not worried about that now. My role players will step up. You always get that 1 or 2 role players step up at the crib.
Can you name me
I'm not
some? Can
worried
you
about
name me
that.
some shoot? Can
Who
you name me some
role
shooters?
player? What
Can you
role
name me
players,
some
though?
shooters on Phoenix?
All
Name me
I
some
need
shooters
is
on
5
Phoenix.
points.
Y'all
All
don't
I
Name
even
me- name me
shoot
some-
three-pointers.
Name me some shooters
That's
on
better
Phoenix,
than
please.
two.
5 points from Cam. Hey, all I need is 5 points.
Well,
Yeah,
good. He
that's
went
it.
1 for
Okay.
10. He went 1 for 10 in game
We
2.
coming to the crib. Why 1 for 10? Ain't 1 for 10 at the crib.
2 for 9. Let's go, baby.
All right, well,
I'm
Not
done.
even 2
I
for
will
9.
take I will take Denver in 5.
I
I'm
got
going Denver
Phoenix
in
at
6.
7.
Oof.
I thought it was
Phoenix at
Phoenix
6
in
and 7.
6.
Phoenix
Yeah.
at 6 and 7. I'm going 6 for real, but 6 or 7.
Says 7, then 6 or 7, then 6 for
It's
Gold.
still, but my pick still ain't changed for Phoenix though. So that's all that really matter.
I'm
All
gonna
right,
go
keep that energy when they lose.
I'm gonna ride with my team
Hey,
until
hey,
they
you
die.
Keep
You still got that karma.
scream in 2 weeks when they lose. Make sure you're still screaming at the camera.
Hey, you still got that Carmelo
Next
Anthony
time we're
jersey?
filming,
You still got
I
that
even put a
Carmelo
Jokic
Anthony
jersey
jersey?
on.
That's
I'll
fine.
put a Jokic jersey on.
When he decides to give DeAndre Ayton, soft tissue, Sharman, another like 35 and 19.
The
Yes.
biggest
Bruh,
problem I have is just
Y'all talking about the
Jokic
dude
right
who's
now,
like the
dude.
2-time MVP. He's supposed to do that shit.
They had Jamal Murray, what, 10
Like
points,
y'all acting
0 for
like he's
9?
not supposed to
Yeah.
do
He's
that.
gonna do that again.
Come on, bro. Come on, man.
His
Man,
game gotta travel.
we need to
The
move
last
on,
2
bro. We
road
need to move
games,
on.
Jamal Murray has averaged 18. I will take that compared to him scoring 30 at the crib. I'm
Well, I mean, he
taking
put
that.
up 10 last game, and y'all still lost by 10.
I'm taking that. That's just because we couldn't make shots down the stretch.
also you're acting like his season average wasn't like 18, 19.
I know.
So it's not like he was.
It's not.
like
It has
he's-
nothing to do with the points production for me. It's the efficiency rate. If he not gonna shoot as efficient as he was at the crib, I'm gonna put my money on it when we on the road. I have to. That's what I'm banking on. You gotta
I
let
better
that
see.
shit travel.
I better see a
You're
little
making
bet
a lot.
slip. I better see a
Let
betting
that
slip
shit
that says
travel.
Phoenix money line.
That
That's
shit
all I gotta
is-
say.
It's way different shooting at
Yeah, he
Denver than it
talking
is in
like
Phoenix.
Phoenix spread. He talking
Yeah,
like Phoenix
at this
spread.
point, you sounding like you picking a spread, and I better see a betting slip that says KD for 40 plus and Devin Booker for 40 plus.
40
That's what I
plus.
better see out of you.
All
A
right.
little SGP.
And everyone else.
And then everybody else, you could put the under. Everybody else, you could put the under. That's what I better see.
Oh my gosh.
Bet.
All right,
This one.
Danny, what do you got? Denver.
Hey,
and what?
Denver in 6, please.
That's
Ooh,
what makes
Ooh,
sense.
winning it in the Valley. I like
I'm
that.
gonna go 5.
Yeah, I'm
I
going
think they
Denver.
split in Phoenix and then win it at home.
If they don't win it in 5, that's their ass. That's all I'm gonna tell you right now.
Okay.
That's their ass.
Lakers
Okay.
Warriors.
It's on still
Yeah,
one
please.
of them.
Oh,
That shit
Yeah,
easy.
look.
Warriors.
going Warriors in 6.
Warriors
Okay.
in 5.
Dang. So I got the Lakers winning tonight. So
Yeah, that's that one. Warriors in 5.
I'm gonna go Warriors in 7.
Okay.
Bro, imagine they play 4 7-game series and win the chip again.
Oh,
That'd be some crazy ass shit. Talk about an NBA narrated season or regular
No.
playoffs.
honestly.
I also like the Warriors in this series. I think it's a lot closer than I think people are expecting. I really think the Lakers they were definitely the better team in the first round.
Looney's gonna have to play his ass off.
Yes.
He did
Yeah,
it against
I think he
Bonus.
But he
can.
always does though. He always
He
does.
always does.
But
He
this
never
is a
plays
tough-
he
this
never
is a
plays
much
down.
tougher matchup.
Oh, 100%.
But
100%.
he's still gonna give you that like 7 to 10 points on a good night. He's still gonna give you 15 plus
he's a
rebounds.
smarter player. I feel like he's more poised. He's been there. He
Yep.
knows how to defend a little better than Triple J could against Anthony Davis. All those things better against AD.
Yeah.
He's gonna make
But
it.
the best-
He's just a more experienced player in that.
In my
comparison.
opinion, the best player on the floor in this whole entire series is going to
Steph
be
Curry.
the Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And to me, the second best player going to be AD, but who going to be on his ass if he show up to me is going to be Clay.
Mm.
Clay's got to shoot better.
I need to see more
Poole's
from
got to
LeBron.
shoot better.
I mean, AD
Well, LeBron hasn't had to turn it on yet.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But like
Scary.
even then, like
This series, we'll
even
see
then,
if
he's had
if
great
he's
first
ready.
quarters for me. Like even with the Dillon Brooks thing, great first quarter, but after that, you disappeared on him.
He doesn't have to though. He
But
hasn't
even then,
had to. He
that's
hasn't had
scary
to.
to me. That's scary to me. I think he needed to turn it on at least once. At least once.
He will. if they need it.
I think this is the series because you know what? I think this
He wants to
series
beat
is-
Steph too.
that's what I'm saying. This series I believe is a lot bigger than what I mean, probably not a lot of people are thinking, but at least like from I think the grand scheme of things, I think this series is huge for his legacy
Mhm.
because I personally believe Steph as the player and what he's accomplished, if he can accomplish more or even tie LeBron in rings or even possibly get 2 more, I believe that we can consider Steph Curry the better NBA player from an accolade standpoint than LeBron. As far as what he's achieved, he's won a ring before KD, he won with KD, he won after KD. He showed that he can carry a team, in my opinion.
I think it's definitely an argument to be had if that happens for sure.
I
But
wouldn't say a better player. I'd say greater player.
yeah, I would say
Sure.
when you end up with who's your top 5, top 10, he'll probably be ranked above LeBron if he does end up
100%.
going on.
100%.
But he's definitely not the better overall player. LeBron's still like the best
Yeah.
player of all time. Obviously not the greatest,
LeBron
and
still
not
finishing top 5.
LeBron's like the best, probably one of the best pure
overall
basketball
player.
Yeah, right. But
top 5 in rebounds, assists.
yeah, dude, I like the Warriors in the series. I just think it's gonna be tough, man. If LeBron and
It's
AD
gonna be
find
good.
it, again, they have. It's not like they don't have pieces. D'Lo went crazy that last game.
Mhm.
Reeves has been
Yeah, but
consistent. We've seen it from
D'Lo
Hachi.
finna have an issue, shorty. D'Lo is not De'Aaron Fox. D'Lo finna have a real motherfucker.
But I think it's gonna be the same
That-
thing as well with Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole's gonna have a tough time too.
but
think
like
this
that,
evens out a
He's
lot
in his
more.
he's in his own head.
that
But I think this
backcourt-
evens out a
he's
lot
in his
more than we
own-
think.
The backcourt.
I'm with you,
LA.
Danny. I'm with you, Danny.
Yeah,
has
I think
to
it's
step up.
going to be close.
Mhm.
If the backcourt LA don't step up, it's gonna be a long series. I'm telling you, it's
It
not
will
gonna.
be. But get my X factor though for the Lakers, my X factor is Malik Beasley. That's gonna be the X factor in this series.
If he can hit shots,
He needs to hit
it's
shots.
gonna be tough. I mean, they're
We
gonna
already
have to.
know. We know Austin Reeves is gonna. We know he's gonna have his moments. We know AD is gonna. He's gonna be one of the main options. We know LeBron's gonna be there. Same thing with Steph, Clay, Jordan Poole's gonna be Golden State's X factor in my opinion as well. So 2 shooters, 2
I
people
actually
that,
think
that need
he
to have
has
good
a big
spots.
series. I actually think Jordan Poole has a big series.
We talked about it last week too. I think he's gonna have a better series, obviously, from a minutes
he's-
and points per
yeah.
game standpoint.
Wiggins gonna be huge for me.
He's already been.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
already been
he ain't
huge.
missed
They're
a
a whole
beat.
different team
The
from the
defense on
regular season
LeBron
to
is going to
this.
be very, very
But
That's
that's
my
not even,
thing,
not even
dude.
that. They know 1 through 5 between Wiggins. I mean, Wiggins actually not, but KD, Jesus Christ, Klay Thompson, sorry, Draymond, Steph Curry, and Kevon Looney. Like they've all played against LeBron multiple times.
Mhm.
They already know how to scheme and defend
Mhm.
LeBron. So it's like they know how to take care of him.
It's the same thing. Let LeBron, depending on how this series goes, let LeBron get his, make everybody else perform.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
make
The
everybody else work.
Warriors are the type of team that can risk
That's how
that.
you lose the series.
I think no, but I think the Warriors are the type
Oh,
of
they
team
won a
that can allow
finals
that.
series?
Exactly, they can risk that. They can risk that, in my opinion. They're
If
one of the few
AD
teams that can actually do that.
If this was AD from maybe like 2-3 years ago,
Nah,
I would say
I
it's a
disagree
different
with you on
story.
that.
but he's just too inconsistent nowadays. I'm not even talking about the production. I'm talking about the level of just how his play. He's one
He's
day
gone 6
Competitiveness.
games.
Yeah.
He's gone
Yeah.
6 games straight so far.
Yeah,
he comes out one day looking like he's hungry. The next
Playoffs
day
is entirely different.
he's been doing it.
The
in the
regular
That's why-
season. The regular season is.
Yeah, that's
I
my
agree.
thing.
This is 6
gonna be
games
a-
in a row. We already saw AD go crazy. Whether
Yeah,
he
that's
was
what I'm
influencing at scoring,
His defense has
rebounding,
been incredible.
defense.
on
He's
both.
done. He's done a little
But
bit of everything.
offensively, he's looked tentative a lot.
But he doesn't. He hasn't had to score. He put up 30
He's
in 2
gonna
games,
have to score this series,
and he probably will.
so
But I'm just saying, everyone on this Lakers team, nobody has taken the front. They're just playing as a team.
Yeah.
Nobody's trying to be the star. Nobody's trying to force shots. If they need you to
Mhm.
score, that person's scoring. If someone else has it hot, that person's scoring.
now is that to their
Yep.
benefit or their detriment?
They
now coming up,
Took the Grizzlies, your team that you had, they took them in 6.
Trash.
So, I mean, like I said, I have the Warriors in this series probably in 6 or 7, but it's a lot closer than I think people are expecting.
Yep.
And I would not
100%.
be surprised if the Lakers were.
And Vitor, for your point too, I believe the Lakers need to play team ball in order to win. Compared
They
to
can't
the
feed
Warriors,
one person.
the
consistently.
Warriors can feed one person, and that's Steph,
yep.
or depending on who's hot. But the Warriors again have that luxury to where they can force feed Steph, or Steph can force feed
Well,
himself.
it's because
The Lakers need to play as a team.
unguardable shot.
Yeah,
He can
but-
shoot from 30 feet forever.
hmm But we'll see what happens. It's gonna be a good series. I'm excited though for game
I'll
one.
go Dubs in 6.
Dubs in 6.
7.
Warriors in 5.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. All right. So, I'm on the wrong thing. I wanted to move into the next portion, which we had. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but just how masterful some of these performances were the last couple of days. James Harden again turning back the clock was just something very special, I felt like, to watch. We had Steph Curry in game 7 that's the most points ever in NBA history in a game 7. Was something we've actually gotten used to seeing from Steph. It was very, very, very special. And it's just entertaining, especially when he's just, he's hitting shots. He's toying with the crowd. He's telling them to light the beam. He picks out the one Warriors fan in the front row, giving him the night celebration. He's dribbling through 4 or 5 guys, getting fouled along the way by each one.
That's
of them.
vintage.
Making the layup. It's vintage. It's what
That's
he's
vintage.
during this entire dynasty. It's that was special.
Well, I'll say with you guys, I mean, obviously I think we all know the answer to this. I'll say, what do you guys think was the, I guess, better performance? But I think it's all gonna be Steph. And I think we'll all say
That's a
Steph.
game 7. Yeah, that's game 7.
Yeah, right.
I
mean, I'd say James Harden's is pretty close as well.
I was gonna say,
my
depending
opinion.
on how the rest of that series goes, that could go down as the more, because I mean, if the Warriors do end up winning in 5, you know what I'm saying, or 5 or 6 games, like something easy. I mean, and then the Sixers end up stealing that in 7. That could go down as the more important game, getting that road win with no Joel.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, that was Harden was just taking guys one-on-one.
But Steph's performance was better, but I think Harden's was more
Will be more impactful.
Well, I think it was more impressive too, just looking at the way Harden's kind of taken that
when
step
he was
back.
off the court in the 3rd quarter and started the 4th, they couldn't get a thing.
Yeah.
They went like 4.5 minutes, I think, while he was on the bench with not scoring. Maxey was just chucking. Tobias was not scoring in the paint. He was stuck at 13 for a while. They were struggling, and then he came right back on and just lit it back up. It was insane.
Yeah,
he looked like he found that burst again.
It's like, I wasn't surprised when Steph was heating up.
No, you weren't surprised. You expected it. It was the only way they were going to.
Yeah, the numbers obviously is crazy. That
Yeah, but 50, I think.
But I was not expecting 45 from Harden.
No.
You could have told me that you came from the future and the Harden scored 45.
Yeah, I would have still been skeptical.
What you got?
Still think it's Steph's. I'm just saying, because it's game 7.
It's a better performance. It's 100%.
Yeah, it's a better performance, but that impact aspect is just because it's game 7. You've done this before, performing like he did on the road, and you still lost the damn game. If you to finally get a big game 7 on the 3 seed at the crib, they didn't win every home game up until that point, and you decide to close it out like that and be dominant like that, I gotta give you that. I'm not taking nothing away from performance. I just think just to do something where your team already struggling like that on the road, doing something.
They did win. They won game 5 and 7 on the road.
In Sacramento.
They won their last 2 wins of the series.
Just like that, with your back against the wall and the team playing like that, I gotta.
They took their soul, bro. Like the fact that they was close.
I thought I was favoring the Warriors in game 7 because
I think
when you look at Sacramento, they were definitely on pins and needles because none of these guys. This is the biggest game that any of these guys have ever played in. Whereas
maybe Harrison Barnes,
Harrison Barnes, of course, but I'm saying like the entire main pieces of that rotation. That's the biggest game of their career. Whereas the entire rotation for the Warriors. They've been there, done that. Like that was cake for them. So I just think I don't know. Harden
I mean, we saw it.
I did not at all expect James to go for 35, let alone 45.
I also didn't expect De'Aaron to go for like 18 on.
Yeah, and then the other one I was going to talk about was Joker again. Had 39. I think that was
master to me.
That was
as much as I was frustrated last night watching that shit.
Dude, that was a masterclass.
Masterful.
The footwork, the paint work. The defensive work,
the patience to take the good shots, make the good shots down the stretch. I think he had 15 and a half. And your team, the rest of your guys around you wasn't scoring.
Dude, that's what I was going to say. They were trash.
Yeah, as much as I'm sitting here going Phoenix in 6, yes, I can see
Denver
them
was
getting their ass whooped.
trash outside of
I can see us
Jokic.
getting that
Yup.
ass whooped, but
Maybe
it's just the way
KCP,
you.
but
No, that man stepped up huge for them in that fourth quarter. I'm not gonna lie. Those two,
he
was
hit
it
big
3 big
shots.
threes?
He
Big
hit big
threes, but
shots
that
early and
Jokic,
late.
but Jokic
Yeah.
out here just babying
He
people
just
when Book was
controls
hot
the
like
game.
that.
It's very impressive, dude.
Also,
Book
to
spoke
me,
this way. Jokic coming back in to
what
turn around.
really stood out to me though with Joker was his emotion. I feel like we don't really see that. And I feel like yesterday he knew that everybody was struggling, that they needed a joke, but for him to actually like show emotion, especially on that one assist from
Yeah.
Jamal to him late in the fourth, when I think it was a floater that he knocked down, like to show that emotion, I think is like what we feel like we always want to see, but obviously we're not going to get it from him. But I think that was
Well,
like an
he
important
knows.
thing.
He knows this
He's-
is the best chance.
Yeah,
they
because
Oh,
that's been
yeah.
their MO. That's
Yeah.
been the MO for them. Was to let him eat. And then that's how you the recipe to beat them was to let him go do what he got to do
Yeah.
and let the rest hold the rest of them to being common guys on the floor. And you telling me he like, bet we finally getting over this hump of like everybody struggle and I'm willing us to a game and we can get over this hump now by all means. When I got one guy, KD was a little inefficient, but if you got Book damn they're trying to will Phoenix to a win last night, I think that's amazing to watch him do that.
Yep, I agree.
I mean, we touched on the Steph Curry Game 7 and then both of those other big performances. Let's go to some lack thereof performances by the Memphis Grizzlies, where a lot of people had them at least making it out of the first round, maybe even making a conference finals run. I mean, that's how they'd been talking all season.
Yep.
They do get bounced in the first round by the Lakers, who outside of maybe game 2, where Memphis really laid it on them. Lakers were pretty dominant the entire series, even in that second loss. It did get away from them at the end of the third, end of the second, into the third, and then they just said screw it. But talk about Dillon Brooks is obviously the topic of debate here.
Yeah.
Do we?
Well,
what's next?
I mean,
the
I know-
Grizzlies
I know
already
we-
said they're not re-signing him.
Yeah, I mean, I know we at least talked about it. Isaac, I want to hear your point of view, and then I know we talked about our teams,
We
us
did.
three
The
last
three of
week
us
a
did
bit.
talk about
But I want to hear your point of view, and then we'll give a quick I guess prediction for a team, and we'll do a quick prediction with salary and years as well, what he might get. But what's your take on Dillon Brooks himself?
I just think Dillon Brooks is trash. I think he gave you a nice little glimpse of what he could be, 18.4. But I think the one thing that's always been the weakness of Dillon Brooks, even when he was at Oregon, was his character. Like, it was a point, I think it was a game, I was just watching the other day, it was a game against Oregon.
Duke.
I mean, against Duke, he had,
Yep.
he shoots the ball, and we got, you too good of a player to do that. The same thing. There's no reason for you to do any talking with LeBron in this series. None of this.
Because the last thing they need to do.
That's the last. That's like Spike Lee pissing off Reggie Miller to me.
Yeah.
Instead of pissing off Reggie Miller, you pissed off the entire Lakers team. Like where you got Austin Reeves, Rui dominating you down the stretch, and we got Dennis Schroeder and them killing you. And LeBron like, man, I got a nice 22 on you, bro. And it's
he was. LeBron was
like cooking you. Like LeBron will give him a glimpse of like what it could be in the first quarter. Like I'm 4 for 5 on 12 points already. Like.
That's what made me laugh the most is LeBron's stats. Like when he was guarded by Dillon Brooks, he was like 65, 70% average.
And that's
like,
my thing.
Easy.
And like to keep talking like that, my man's won a game on you with 20 points and 20 rebounds.
Yeah.
He gave you 40 in a different way to me. Like, I just think right now, Dillon Brooks is, to me, isn't worth any value to me right now. Because like he could be good on like the Rockets maybe. But I think that's where he's heading, one of these type of teams, or he's gonna be in China, from what I've been hearing.
It's gonna be real sad when the Suns sign him to fill that hole that y'all got.
Hey, you
on
see
the
this?
perimeter.
Oh, you see this? I'm taking this joint straight off, boy. I ain't going. I'm taking my ass to OKC.
He's actually ranked as the number 4 free agent small forward by Sports.
I think the reason that is kind of what we're going to get into later, at the end of the NBA segment. It's just because he is that gritty, grindy. You know, he's the type of player you need in the playoffs.
He's just not self-aware.
You just need. I feel like you need a right coach.
Yeah,
I don't feel like.
He's
self-awareness. It's
See,
you gotta
like,
know who you
even-
are and what your role is, what your job is, right?
and that's
Stay
another
down.
thing to me.
Yeah.
This defensive label, okay,
Mhm.
like this label we giving him. He, to me, in my opinion, hasn't impacted any damn game on the defensive side of the basketball. Like to where we out here, like Dillon Brooks led them on the defensive side. Of the
Last year, he was showing it.
Yeah,
This
was-
year-
But he
last
wasn't
year.
barking like that
Yeah.
last year.
last year.
No.
Which is exactly, and I mean, that's I think the makeup of this Grizzlies team in general is they started talking a lot more when they started getting the success, and now they can't back up the talk because they're making themselves targets. And so I think part of the reason they're not going to re-sign Dillon Brooks is for the fact is you've already got Ja, who's already proven to not be the most mature and prone to, falling into things that he maybe shouldn't fall into. They need guys around him who are gonna be
Yeah, they need
impactful on the
opposite,
court and impactful off the court.
not
right?
just one or the other.
Yeah, you can't have a guy like Dillon Brooks playing with Ja because he's
It
gonna
just amplifies it.
It's not. It's you need guys. You're gonna need guys to keep him level and to keep him growing. Not someone like Brooks who,
Keep him grounded.
you
Yeah,
don't want a guy who just
I agree.
inflates egos and tries to build up this persona
Yeah.
because it's just gonna lead
Well,
to
he also
disaster.
don't need a guy. You don't need a guy angering the whole team and coming out
Yeah.
shoot 3 for 20 like 2 straight games. Like,
Oh yeah, dude, he shot like what? He averaged like 10 points.
I think they're gonna go so hard for OG.
25% from three, 30 something
Yeah.
from the field.
I think it's going to be somewhere. I think it's going to be a signing trade, in my opinion.
You gotta. I think you got a wiring issue.
Watch the mic, Dan. Watch
On the
the
mic.
mic.
You sound like a demon's down deep
He
in your
said-
throat.
There you go. There you go. You said you sound even from the depths of hell.
I think that I think they do a sign and trade, in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
I
mean,
think
yeah,
that's what they
who?
end up doing. I think it's gonna be to a team like Toronto. That's
I
what I
think a
believe.
Devin
contender.
Booker.
I still think a contender will want him
Yeah, especially
with
if
the
he's-
right coach.
Yeah, and
the
especially if his
right
value is that bad.
the right coach, the right culture,
Mhm.
the right guys around him.
Mhm.
Because again, like we've said, we've seen he would run amok in Houston.
Yeah, especially if they finally are moving.
So
towards
you
getting
tell-
a good
y'all
coach.
don't think Ime Udoka could reel that in?
He might turn
I-
it
That's
around.
what he make a
He-
turn him around.
He may
Because
could,
he was really
but he's
able
got
to
focus
take
on
Marcus
KPJ,
Smart,
Jalen.
really
He's
kind
got
of
other
take that aggression
priorities.
that Marcus Smart had, and he really focused and turned Marcus Smart, along with Brad Stevens.
what I'm
into a really
saying.
great
Yeah,
player.
but he's
Ime
he's
got
he's
it.
got other priorities, man. He's got to make sure Jalen and KPJ are in line.
You're right. He
I
do
mean,
got
they
other
don't
priorities.
got character
He got
issues. They
staff priorities.
KPJ, I guess he started his career with kind of being known for that, but I think he's kind of shrugged that label off in recent years.
They're
His
gonna, I
last 2
think
years
they're
in
actually gonna
Houston.
flourish.
I think so as well. I
love
think so.
KPJ's
But
game.
I don't know.
I
I think
think- yeah,
Dillon
I
Brooks can
think-
still end up on a pretty low.
It's the
low
NBA.
wage deal,
He'll
but
get somewhere. He'll be somewhere.
I think because I think there's a team that knows what he can offer and
Yeah.
knows that if they can just harness that
yeah,
and
and
again
Mhm.
focus that extra aggression and like we saw it last year.
and
Still-
sometimes you take these
quality
Going
players.
to
guys.
Atlanta.
You take these guys.
Dude, put
and
him on Miami.
Yeah.
Woo!
You lessen their
Bro, he
roles.
fits Miami.
You take these guys and you lessen their roles.
Because
and they
what
become
happens?
way
You
more
give him this
impactful.
whack ass deal in
Mhm.
Miami. He either is an absolute star for you because he fits that culture, or you just kick his ass to the curb because they don't take that.
Yeah.
You
Hey,
telling
send
me
them
Jimmy
motherfuckers to
Butler
that
is gonna
game.
allow that? Jimmy Butler will probably knock his ass
Well,
out.
we're gonna get a news report that Jimmy and Dillon got to throwing hands in practice.
Ali.
That's
I
what
think
you
we
gonna
get the
get.
news report that Dillon Brooks got knocked out in practice.
Yeah, but that's what I think. I just think his head too hard, bro. You talking about it's been like big name people talking to this dude already. I don't think
Yeah.
any of that shit reels that in. He need to go
Hey.
somewhere where he could go be him. Like just
Yeah,
go
I
be him.
mean, trying to be him ain't working. Trying to be him ain't
I was
working.
saying, at that point,
That's
it's
what I'm
kinda-
saying. And that's what
Yeah.
he's trying to do. And that's prime example. You don't talk to the media or nothing. That's how I know you just want to go be you, bro.
It's funny
It's
too
not no-
because he had his best game in games 1 and 2 when he was chirping, and then he stopped chirping the last 4 games, and he was trash.
Exactly.
I mean, he
But
feeds
you
off
got to
it.
stick to what you got to
Like,
stick
he
to what you
needs
do.
to- right? But again, I just think
But you
need
also
to
got to
harness it in.
keep the chirping to you
It
and
needs
the
to be-
game.
yeah,
Don't chirp out to the media
yeah.
Yes.
because that's
Yeah.
when it always goes wrong.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
I
Well,
think
bef-
guys like Pat Bev and other guys, similar.
before we
really
move on
good.
to the next one, what do we think he gets for a contract? I believe it's going to be probably in the range of I want to say at
2 to
least
3.
a 3 4 year, probably around 15
Oh
million a
wow.
year.
I think it'll be
That's what I
2
believe.
years with a team option for the
Mhm.
third year.
Okay.
I got a 1-1.
It might be. I
Nah,
don't
you
know.
got a one and done. That's what you got.
I think it's gonna depend on the length of the contract is gonna depend on the financial
Yeah,
terms.
I
So
like
if
I
it's
like I
1
like the
year, he'll
2 year
get like a
player
bit
option,
more.
but I don't know if he even deserves that.
No, I don't. He
That's why I
doesn't.
said
But
1-1. He
I'll go
get a year and an
2 year,
option.
2 years like 28,
It's around this.
28,
Yeah, he's coming
29,
off a 3 year,
Yeah, I ain't gonna-
$35 million contract
which is around
extension.
11 to 12.
So
mhm.
you're assuming he's gonna want more money than that. If anyone's willing to pay it, I don't know. He's probably gonna want
I don't
somewhere
know.
around
Your
15 to
numbers
18.
significant.
But
Yeah, 2 years,
His
30.
numbers drop.
Yeah,
yeah,
he might have to take it on a somewhat of a prove it
He
deal.
might have to
But
take
Which could
yeah, like
could
a
be the
prove it
1
deal.
year. Yeah, that 1 year.
yeah,
deal.
1 year proof it deal.
yeah, well, I think that 1 year prove it deal comes from a contender if that's what he would take.
Right,
Probably
and then
around maybe,
re-signs.
and then re-signs with probably a
Kind of like a
more
Kelly
younger
Oubre
team.
contract where
I would say
when
so.
Yeah, because then he'd probably be like the veteran leader or something.
Yep.
Exactly.
he'll be the
But
veteran. I
I
don't know
feel
about
like we're
leader.
giving him way too much.
we are.
Shit.
We are.
Yeah, I think we're
We are
tooting
right
his
now.
horn a little too
My
much.
biggest thing
I
for
should
him
be in
is
Isaac's
he
boat
just
right
has
now.
to know who he is and know his role and stick to that. When he starts taking 15
Bro,
shots
he's
a
at like
game,
110. He just needs to get to like 95.
Bro,
yeah,
he just geeked because he scored 18.4 the season before that. He doodle, bro.
He's
He's
bad.
doodle.
He's bad, bro. But
Don't take the regular seasons too.
exactly.
Stats don't
Like what
matter.
happened. But
Oh,
let's
let's
get
jump into
into
Isaac. Let's jump into Isaac's question. I feel like it's
okay,
a little
yeah.
bit
Let's do that.
more tailored to what we were talking about.
Mhm.
Because these are guys who are, in my opinion, very Dillon Brooks-like players, but are guys who have been able to hone in their aggression and turn it into positive outputs for
for the most part.
championship contending teams. Actually,
Mhm.
championship winning teams outside of Marcus Smart. They did make it to the finals, but Isaac, go ahead and ask. This was your question, but I really liked it.
Guys. So, guys, real quick. So we got guys like PJ Tucker, Draymond, Marcus Smart. And I feel like these are the type of guys that are very overlooked in a sense, in my opinion. Would you consider them overrated? Or do you believe that's the type of piece you need in order to win a championship in the NBA? Like, is that impact they have on those teams, like the Marcus Smart, Draymond for Golden State, for example, is his impact overrated in a sense, or being like very like overvalued, or do you really need Draymond and like Golden State or like just to win a title, regardless, on any team?
I think you're always going to need a guy who does the dirty work, who kind of is a leader on the court, off the court, knows their role. I think is the very big part, and that's what we were talking about. Brooks doesn't know his role.
Mhm.
You talk about.
Would you prefer?
Go ahead.
Would you prefer a guy? So, in my opinion, so like I had this debate with somebody the other day. So, like a Draymond, prime example. So he scored what was it, 20 games?
I feel like Draymond's so tough.
That's what
Draymond's
I'm
very
saying.
niche to this
He's
Warriors
so niche
franchise.
to the Warriors because he just.
Yeah, I don't think he would have been the same.
I like the PJ Tucker, and I would even argue that.
Yeah, like the
Marcus
guys who
Smart
got
as well.
stats.
Look
Like
at the
PJ,
impact.
like those guys.
Yeah,
those guys
They've
who have
plugged in
stats that you
different
just can't see.
franchises.
And Jay Crowder
Yeah,
for some time was doing it.
Yes, like those are the type of guys. Do you need those type of guys? You're not gonna see his stats,
Dellavedova.
but you know what type of impact.
You look at like a Pat Bev. Look at the impact he
Patrick
had when he
Beverley,
came to the Bulls this season.
Dellavedova.
Right, these guys they do
Caruso
stuff
with the Lakers.
they do stuff that is necessary to win that most players are not willing to do.
Yeah.
Whether it be diving on the floor for a loose ball, putting their bodies on the line.
The Morris twins, they
Yeah.
were kind of like that.
Marcus Morris is
The one that's better. I can never remember.
Marcus is
Marcus.
the better one, but he's
Yeah.
been playing like the worst one for the last few odd months.
Yeah.
That's been wild.
I think. I don't think. I don't think Draymond deserves to be in this type of conversation, in my opinion, because, like Vitor said, he goes on a different team. I don't believe he's the player that he ever turned out to be with Golden State, in my opinion. I believe he would still have the similar impact, but nothing of this nature because he knows how to get used properly.
Yeah,
I think any other team that, like, let's say he goes to a different team this
I wouldn't
offseason.
even say it's that. I just think you paired him with the perfect player.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's very
two guys that were just too
it-
perfect for
Yeah,
each other.
he's a very
with me,
system player, in my opinion. But
to me,
any other team, I don't think he has the same type of impact. I think it's a more negative impact as far as stats go. But I think he does have a character boost that he will always carry around.
and to
But
me,
nothing of what's going to be like this.
and for me, so with me, so like the conversation was also brought up with, I believe Draymond can go somewhere else
So do I.
and make that impact, because Vitor just hit it on the head. The same point I had. There's too many guys in the NBA that do not do the nitty gritty things. And to me, Draymond has a bunch of stats on the defensive side of the basketball that just do not show up. Like, you don't get him contested at the rim unless he's blocking
Yeah.
it. You don't get that.
Contest,
You don't get that.
deflections.
You don't see that many. You don't see these type of help side defenders
Yeah.
like stand up. Yeah, he might get some stupid technical fouls here and there, but like, I think he makes the same defensive impact. I don't think he ever made an offensive impact for them. He might set some stuff up and they running through him, but that's
But
still
he'd be
more
hitting
like
that random ass clutch three when they need it.
that
Yeah.
random
shit's
right.
so funny.
Backpack on and everything.
That's so funny, dude.
But I think that's his whole thing with me. Like even with PJ Tucker, like his stats, he played 37 minutes and doesn't have
0
one shot
points.
attempt, no rebounds. To me, that's a bad
Right,
game.
and
He
they
had
won
no
the freaking
rebounds.
game.
Yeah, but his empty stats is him legit just pressuring the basketball for 37 minutes to me. Like, you need a guy like that. He don't care about his stats. That's why I feel like you need an empty stats guy, but who just bust their ass for you.
Yeah.
And we talk about stats, right? You don't know what coaches say. Doc could be telling PJ, hey, I don't want you rebounding.
Yep.
Go run to the corner, make the defense collapse. Pull that guy out of there so we have four, to worry about.
You don't have any idea what his assignment was that
And we saw a lot of that in game 1 against Boston, stay in the corner. And he was actually able to collapse the defense by doing either ball movement, doing a swipe, doing a little hitch, and trying to get to the basket and passing it to the open guy after one dribble. That's just what he does. But it's very tough, though. I think I don't know. I just think I think more so now with a lot of our generation of people going like in the NBA, our generation is like, you have to be vocal. That's what I think the major difference is with these players, is that they're vocal to the younger generation, and that's what boosts them. That's what gets them pissed off, in like my opinion, but in a good way to have a positive impact. It's because they're very vocal.
Yeah, I think you 100% need these guys. I think if you even just look back and over the last decade, every single team that's won a championship has had one of these guys.
Dirty work guy.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
At least
And
one,
it-
yeah, at least
or
one.
they were just an entire team of,
Yeah.
I would say like maybe the Mavericks. They had
Yeah.
Dirk and some of the other guys,
Yeah,
but
I
they
mean,
were just an
Sean
entire
Marion,
scrappy
yeah.
team just in general because they
JJ
had to be.
Barea.
But like when it comes to like the bigger teams that have the more superstar talent, they definitely have the Draymond, the PJ Tuckers, the Dellavedovas.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked
Even
about
Manu Ginobili.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go back to the Spurs, like he was kind of their dirty work guy, but could also hit a big shot.
Yeah, I mean, they also had
Yeah.
Bruce
Bruce
Bowen.
Bowen.
was a
Bruce
yeah.
Bowen. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I mean, you look recent teams, even with the Bucks, right? You have guys who
But PJ
specialize
was in that ring with them.
Yeah, PJ was
Yep.
there. Grayson was there doing dirty work.
And now he's kind of it too.
He stays more on the dirty side than the work side, but
Yeah.
Better. Better. He's a piece of you know what.
he
But
played like ass.
but
in those
he-
last
he's been
couple
better.
games. But yeah, it's absolutely necessary, and you see it. If I remember the Brooklyn series against Milwaukee, how impactful Bruce Brown was for them, being their like dirty work guy. They just didn't have enough with all the injuries going on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you could see the impact that he had on that team, and he was a big reason why they were in the game while KD was doing all that backpacking.
Well, him and
Mhm.
KD had such a good
Yeah.
two-man game going, and he was knocking down shots when
He
they
was like-
doubled KD
Yeah,
on the pop.
man. I don't want to talk about Bruce Brown. I love him. He on Denver right now.
Yeah,
They
You
gave
know,
all that work.
Hey, but
They
yeah,
got
I
that
think
work.
we're all in
Yeah,
agreement.
I mean, they got a couple of those dirty work guys: KCP, Bruce Brown.
Even if you look at some, I was about to say, you look at the guys the teams that are left now. I think each team has a dirty work guy. I would say.
And I'll be honest with you, and that's
Maybe
where
outside
the
of
team that's
Phoenix.
down. They were. That's exactly where I
Well,
was
that's
going.
what,
Steve,
and it's
that's
crazy because
That's
Josh
what's the down
Okogie,
2-0 things.
Josh Okogie made a name for
That's-
himself being a hustle defense guy, and then
And
lately
he's not doing it.
he's just chucking threes. So I don't know what happened, but he used to be that guy, that kind of guy. But now he's not.
Because he was hanging his hat. Yeah, he was hanging his hat on his role.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like those are the type of guys who hang their hat on, like, cool, I ain't got to score, but I know I like a Dennis Rodman. I ain't got to score. I just got to play defense and rebound every ball that come off this rim.
Mhm.
Draymond, I just got to play defense and get the ball to the 2 best shooters in the world.
Yep.
What a
I
life that
just-
is. What a
I
life
don't
that's
see
got to be.
anybody. You feel me? Like, you see where it's like they hanging their hat on something, and I don't think there's a lot of guys that do that. Like,
Yeah.
you either like Dillon Brooks to me is in the gray area. Like, you either want to be a scorer or you want to be a defensive player.
Yeah,
You
there's no
choose.
reason in a closeout game you got more shots than John Morant. You know what I'm
Like,
saying?
you're not a
Or
two-way
or
guy.
even
You
Desmond
prove
Bain.
that.
Yep.
You prove that.
Exactly.
You're not a type of two-way guy like that. You're not.
Yeah. He could.
It's a
I'm telling
character.
you, go to just. I'm not even gonna say it, but he could be something if he could
Yeah,
reharness that.
you're not
That's
in the
my
right
opinion.
system.
But Danny, let's go to your last segment and then we'll close out the NBA with a little overrated, underrated.
Yes, sir.
I
So we
haven't
got
done
a
this
little.
in a minute, but I'm
I
excited.
know.
Yeah.
So I got
They're
kind of went
always
on the little defensive side a bit with the
head-scratching.
player list here. So I got 6 names for you guys. So here we go. We'll start with our overrated, underrated, or you can even say properly rated. First player I'm gonna name, Drew Holiday. I believe he's overrated, underrated, or properly rated at this point in his career.
I'm gonna go properly rated. I think he spent a lot of his careers underrated. But over the last couple of years, he's gotten the recognition. I mean, I saw a TikTok. I don't know if anyone knows. He's an older guy, OG. They call him. He was
Yep.
talking about Drew's defense on Jimmy in the series and how maybe
It was
he's
actually
overrated.
detrimental, in my opinion.
Yeah, but as a perimeter defender,
Yeah,
but I
then
think
you
it's
got
also because he's had to take on such a much bigger role scoring and playmaking for these teams that the defense has slipped, and I think we've seen that with guys throughout the years.
Yeah.
But I don't go properly rated. I don't think one series defines him. I think we've seen it for enough years where.
Okay.
I think he's proper. I'm gonna say he's properly rated, but I did think he took a dip on the defensive side of the basketball because it was points where he was like literally limiting guys, making them shoot, having these bad like rough shooting nights in a sense. And I feel like Budenholzer put him in a predicament guarding Jimmy just because that's a real size difference already. But when I watched like throughout the season, Brunson put 44 on his head, things like that, I'm like, all right, he losing a little step because that's a guy I feel like last year he would have been like, let me lock this up, and he's gonna have his roughest shooting night playing against Drew Holiday, not explode for 40. And I feel like a lot of guys had that on him this year. But I think that also goes to what Vito was saying. I think he had to take a more of a scoring load, which he took a dip on the defensive side, which I say he has to be properly rated right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with properly rated. I think a lot before he got to Milwaukee, I 100% was just one of the biggest underrated players by what he can do and can still go and give you that one night where he put up almost 50 or he did put up 50.
It was like 40 something. It's like 40
so he
something.
still has that in his bag if they need it. But yeah, I would say properly rated. He's got his ring, he's got his all-stars, he's gotten the limelight. I definitely think he's pretty properly rated. I still think you can
took
guard.
a while, but he got there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I personally think he's still underrated at this point. But I do agree with your guys' points is that I think because of the Chris Middleton injury, I don't believe that Holiday can be a number 2 option, especially on a team like Milwaukee. He needs to be the 3rd option, but he needs to have all of his energy on the defensive end. We saw that during
it was really tough because Chris was out and then Giannis went out and Chris came back. So he was consistently being a 1 or 2 option night in, night out. So
that only works for so long
when you're taking so many shots.
Exactly.
Well, I think also too, it's really hard for somebody to be, in a sense, a number 2 with how Giannis plays.
Yeah,
like
because
I feel like Chris Middleton works so well because he's a 3-level scorer to me.
Yeah.
To me, with Drew Holiday is either get to the rim.
Them knees are gone though. I'm just saying that now.
And that's why I'm saying with Giannis, it's like he's always going to be in the paint. All that attention's in the paint. So when Drew can't get to his spots like he wants to, just because he got Giannis there, I think he can't be a 2. I think he could be a 2 somewhere else in the right system, but not right now in Milwaukee. No.
Okay. All right. Next guy I got for you guys here, Overrated, underrated, Mikal Bridges.
Underrated.
Mm.
Underrated.
I'm gonna go properly.
think
I
he's
go properly
underrated.
rated.
Bro.
I'm going properly rated as
think-
well. I'm with you, Vitor.
Underrated. I'm gonna go underrated.
I think
for
he
the
was
fact-
underrated until he got the move and showed, and everyone now sees.
Bro,
what
I
he
still
can
think
do.
he's got more to.
He's still
I mean, I'm sure
underrated
He's
to me
still got
He's
way
young.
more to
He's-
show.
because people think that's a
More?
fluke to me.
Mm.
Yeah.
I've not seen anyone say it's a fluke. So I mean, if I saw that, I would
Like,
probably be in the
because-
same boat.
Because he took a jump this year. Like he was averaging 20 before he left Phoenix, and then he took a 5-point jump when he got to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So
I think he's got more.
I think he has more in the bag. I just think
Yeah.
Oh,
for
but yeah,
somebody
that's
who ain't
natural
played-
growth. That doesn't mean he's underrated if he's got more room for growth. Doesn't
Yeah.
mean he's
we talking about a
underrated.
whole team. To me, he's underrated because it's a guy they finna damn near put the chips onto like Brooklyn might damn near put the chips on Mikal Bridges. Like I
Yeah.
need to build around Bridges.
I was about to
Like,
say, I think he's
And
gonna
if they don't
take
build
them
around
places.
Bridges, you about to watch New York Knicks make a run for Bridges this offseason. Phoenix was already talking about trying to make a run to bring him back to Phoenix in some way.
He
Like,
fits
it's
in
little
literally
things like
on
that.
every single team.
Yeah,
And
he's one of those
18
players.
He's
Yeah,
like
that's my
he's such like a baby KD
Yeah.
where he literally fits
Honestly.
in the system.
He's a
Honestly.
two-way guy. I think he's underrated because everybody was just like, yeah, he's just a defensive guy. Give you
Right.
10,
They were like,
15.
oh yeah, he's just a
Dollar
role
nine.
player. Like, yeah, he's
No,
he's
this
good
dude
on
had a
defense.
bag that he just couldn't unravel because, to be honest, he got probably plays with one of the dudes who had the most highest usage rate in the NBA, and Devin Booker.
Yeah.
It's hard to play
Okay.
with that.
And a guy like Chris
Dude,
Paul
I
who
think
does like
I
sharing
think
the
we're
ball
gonna
a lot.
see a crazy year next year.
They need to make some.
Especially when they're more comfortable. I'm
Dude,
expecting a big
I think he
year
can
from
get close
Cam
to
as well.
30. I think he can get close to 30.
I wouldn't be surprised. I won't be surprised at all. All right, that was good. That was good. Next one here. Let's see here. Next one I got for you guys. Overrated, underrated. Derek White.
Underrated.
I'm gonna go
to me.
underrated.
Underrated
Oh.
to me. Gang has stepped up huge down the stretch for Boston. When it's those times where Jaylen Brown and them ain't scoring, it's Derek White putting a bucket on somebody's
I
head.
don't know. He had a couple bad games come the last few games. He's an absolute menace on defense though, which is what's incredible.
Well, yeah, he's
I just think he can be a bit inconsistent
on offense.
on
yeah.
offense, but
he
I'll still say underrated because I think the reason I'll say underrated is because when he had the keys for a few weeks,
Oh man,
he was averaging like almost 20 and 10
Yeah.
consistently,
Mhm.
and you pair that with his, two-way ability because he's a huge guard for
Yeah.
being a 1-2.
bro, his shot blocking ability
He is very, very incredible on defense.
Both his ability to go up and contest a shot,
Which
and
is what
also
was so-
swipe down on guys
yeah.
under the basket.
Like he made
so-
Maxey, he struggled. Maxey struggled a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Derek White was guarding him, and that's because he checks you so high up past the 3 line, but yet you can't just blow by him because, like you said, he'll just recover and block you from behind because he's so bigger, much bigger and longer.
Okay.
I'll stick with underrated though.
All right.
I'll stick with underrated because I do think he could be a very special player if he was like
if he was given a Mikal
if he
Bridges
wasn't playing
situation.
behind, if he wasn't
Yeah.
playing behind 2
Well, I think it's
dogs
in
his positions.
I think it's similar though that to Mikal, but I think Derek really like got comfortable this year. So I think
Yeah.
that really helped with his jump. Same thing
He's done
to
a lot of
Mikal
things.
Bridges.
He's
Yeah.
done a lot of different things. He's been
Yeah.
he's guarded the other team's number 1. He's been a role player. He's been a star. He's been a playmaker. He's been a scorer. He's been a 3-and-D wing. Like he's
Yeah.
done so
Yeah.
many different roles for Boston. So
Okay.
Yeah, as guys
I'll
were
go
in and out of the
underrated.
lineup, he was something that they could hold constant and
Yeah.
kind of mold him to
Yeah,
whatever
if
they
somebody's
needed that
somebody's
night.
out, bam. Marcus Smart's out. You got to go guard the top guard and
Yeah.
play make a little. Tatum's out. You got to go give me 25. He was doing a bunch of different things.
Okay.
He's a solid ass player, dude.
Next one I got for
He was a steal for them.
he was. I don't know how they let him go like that. But next one I got here for you guys. Overrated, underrated. DeJounte Murray.
Ooh.
Overrated.
I was
he's-
going overrated as well.
He
I
sold
think
so
he's
hard those
overrated.
last 2 games.
It sucks too because I'm a huge fan of his game,
Mm-hmm.
but he let me down a lot.
Bro, he sold so hard those last
He
2 games.
transitioned to overrated when he went to Atlanta,
Yeah.
and it didn't work. And his game has gotten worse from being in
Mhm.
Atlanta.
Well, he's in, and the funny thing is, the biggest concern was that he can't space the floor, right?
His
And he actually
3-point shooting
improved his
improved
three-point
quite a
It
bit.
did.
but I
Yeah.
feel like everything else slipped a little
Got
bit.
worse.
Yeah, which I mean, it might be due to the usage too. You know, Pat playing next to Trey can't be easy as another guard.
Mhm.
Especially because
lead
his
guard.
game is what Trey does.
Yeah,
that kind of
they're
pick
both
and
lead
roll,
guards,
that
yeah.
kind of moving off the screens, getting into your floater shots. Like, he did a lot of that in Sacramento or
Mhm.
San Antonio,
Yeah.
especially that last season he had there.
But
Okay.
yeah,
Oh man, I'll go properly. I
Oh,
still think it's kind of a stud.
okay. Vitor, you went.
I'm not gonna
I
let
need to see
one
that
season-
defensive intensity come back because I didn't
I'm not gonna
see
let
it
one season.
this year.
I'll go properly for now. Because
Okay.
I don't think anyone's sitting here saying he's insane. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anyone's sitting here saying that he's this incredible superstar. I think
Yeah.
he is what he is.
But he's
Uh-huh.
got the potential to be a star. And he wasn't playing like it.
Right. Which is why I think he's.
Yeah.
I would go properly rated.
20-6 is not what I expect from him, even playing next to Trey.
When he had 21-9 the year before, yeah, no.
Yeah,
Okay.
and
But that was with the keys.
yeah, and we should have seen with the
It's a
dump, with the
system
jump
thing.
And actually,
scoring,
he
with the
was
three-point shooting.
he played pretty good those first few games.
Yeah.
Against Boston, it was just it really went downhill when the refs weren't giving him the calls, and he just
Lost it.
let his head go. I'll go
Alright.
proper. I'm sticking properly though.
All right. Last couple I got here for you guys. Overrated, underrated, Jaylen Brown.
Properly rated.
Properly rated.
Properly rated.
I would like to readdress this when All NBA comes out
Mm.
because that might change the way I view this.
I know, Danny. I know you're pretty high on Jaylen Brown.
I got properly rated.
I don't think he's a number one though on a contending team. I don't believe that.
Last year, you
Let me ask you- let me
thought he
ask
was
you-
better than Jason Tatum.
Well, last year he.
I do
Let me
bel-
hold on, wait, time out. Let me ask you a question. Why you
I don't think Jason Tatum's gonna lead them to a championship either. I don't think that's in the cards for him. I really don't. Mhm.
I mean, I can't disagree with you at this point.
I don't believe that. Mm-mm. I don't think either
I'm
of them
trying
are
to
number.
look at you,
Neither
Jaylen.
they are number one. In my opinion, they're number one options in the regular season. They'll get you a good record, but they will not lead you to a championship.
Dude, yeah, but
I
it
don't
takes you
know.
a lot to lead to a championship.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like they're in the same boat.
You got to
as
look at
Phoenix
who's
were.
winning championships. I mean, we're talking about like top 10, 15 guys are the only ones that have won championships really in the last 2-3 decades, like
If
2
you go, I
decades.
mean, you go back to that Pistons team.
That's probably the last team that had some
and
Role
Mavericks
players.
team, and that
to
Mavericks
like,
team.
you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
But yeah, for the most part, you're looking at
Like,
having
I'm
a
not
top
disagreeing
five-ish
with you, but I'm
guy.
just saying, like, to say
does
he's
take a
not
lot.
a
It takes
top
a
10
lot.
to 15 guy, like, no,
No,
he's
I
not.
believe talent wise he is, but I just don't think he's that type of talent to lead you to an NBA championship. Like everybody's saying that,
I'm
oh, if
trying
he
to
was on
see
this
why.
other team,
I think
if he
with
was
the
on
right
another
run,
team,
I think with the right run, he definitely can. I mean, he's been to the
So,
conference finals
I
4 out
think-
of 5
I think-
years.
well, I think
Been to
this.
the
I don't know.
finals 1 year.
You guys can tell me this. I think him and Jimmy Butler are a good comparison as far as what they can do when they step their game up. I believe that they're teetering along the same line. Do you think that Jaylen Brown can do what Jimmy Butler is doing right now with this Miami Heat team?
Two different players.
No, not even.
I think they're closer than a lot of people think.
Who?
No, because
Jalen and Jimmy.
No.
Jimmy hangs his head on both
Yeah,
sides of the
Jalen
basketball.
can't play the defense that Jimmy Butler can.
Jalen
Not
is
even
that guy.
not even close.
Jalen is the guy you could put defensive guys and role players around. Like you can't tell. I think he can lead somebody to a championship.
You're looking at Jalen
Seven-
Brown with a pure dynamite team around him, and you're looking at Jimmy Butler with
Seven
undrafted scrubs.
postseason games. He's averaging
Bam.
26.1. Like on
I am
56%
Basha
shoot,
Bam.
54% from the three in the postseason. Like, yeah, I think he can lead a team. I gotta say properly.
Interesting.
Jalen Brown, yeah, properly.
I'm gonna go properly.
He's not better than Jason Tatum, though. I'm sorry.
I mean,
No.
I think it's still very close.
No, it's not.
I think so as
He's
well.
Too inconsistent for me to be that true number one superstar. At least right now, still young.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Jason Tatum. He still to me he's a superstar, but he's not that true like top tier.
Dude, but again,
superstar.
you and Danny both just
Yeah.
did that. Like, you're talking about like 5 guys.
Yes, but that's when you're talking about overrated, underrated. People were talking about Tatum like he was the MVP for
he was
two-thirds
for
of the
like a
season.
month.
Oh
When he
yeah, I'll
started
agree.
playing, he was. At the
And
start
then
of the
he played.
season, he
Yeah,
was.
People were hanging.
I
He
was.
was averaging like
Yeah.
36 for like a month and a half.
He was sitting at
Yes.
that third spot on that MVP ladder for so long. For what?
Because you still have people look. Because when he's still doing what he's doing. Joel was doing what he was doing.
Yeah, they
Jokic
were
still
doing.
what he
Yeah,
I
was-
love their advanced
Everybody was
stats.
doing what they're doing.
yeah. I'm sorry, V. That's why I gotta hop off the bandwagon with you on that one, unfortunately. But
I don't know.
But
y'all
I-
talk about
I
him
think-
like
I think
he's
we
a
stood-
top, like 5 player.
we stood
I
strong,
just-
though. We stood strong. I'll say
I
that.
just think what's his face shot selection has to be better down the stretch
Both of
in
theirs.
order in these types of playoff games, and that's Jason Tatum.
You're just helping me, brother. That's all I'm saying. You're just helping
I'm
me.
just
Right
saying they both can lead down the stretch.
Jaylen Brown is
Hey.
properly rated.
now. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I would
Last
love to
one,
see him as a number 1 on another team, but I think he's a number 2.
that's a combo
Okay.
we gotta have.
And a number 2 that complements the game more. I think you have two
He's
guys
for
who are
me.
very
For me,
much
Jaylen
like
Brown's like a
similar.
Kyrie. Like he
Yeah.
fits really good with anybody.
Yeah, the thing
That's
is
a good one.
yeah,
That's a good
Jason
one.
and Jalen are just
I
very
can see that.
similar
I
style
like Kyrie better,
players.
though.
You kind of want, in my opinion, I would like when if I were to build a team, I would want my 2 best players to play more different styles, just to kind of have more looks to work with. But
Mm.
that's just.
I
kinda
also,
how
for
see
me,
it.
in that argument,
That
I just
number
feel
works
like
though.
when Tatum is not scoring the ball, I just feel like he can influence the game in so much more ways than Jaylen Brown can if he's not scoring the ball.
Offensively.
On both sides, I feel like rebounding the ball offensively and
He is a really
defensively. When he's getting a lot of assists. I don't know. He's got the length to be more.
It's
of a
tough.
finisher. I just
It's
feel like
tough,
if
though.
JB's not scoring, I don't know.
It's tough. It's tough. All right. Last one I got here for you guys. New York Knicks guard, Jalen
dear.
Brunson.
Underrated, bro. Y'all
underrated.
stop disrespecting my man's
Who's
underrated.
disrespecting him?
Everybody
He's nothing but hyped
disrespecting
up
him.
all year. I have
Nah,
not
y'all
seen a
been
single negative comment
Everybody,
about
nah,
Jalen Brown
he was
or Jalen Brunson.
underrated,
Hey,
he going off- he going off
again
Is he?
undersized.
He about to
He
have
ain't big
30.
enough. He
He about
underrated.
to have
Joe.
30. No, he's. I would
Everybody
say
didn't think, everybody
he's-
thought that shit in Dallas was a fluke. No, underrated,
I will say that. I will say he's still underrated in my opinion.
underrated. Gang got
I'm gonna
motherfucking.
go properly.
Okay. See what you got.
I think there's a lot of people who do overrate him though.
I agree.
Like there's a lot of people talking about him like he's that next guy at point guard. Like he's not.
No, he's
Be
not.
real. He's a
No.
really, really good starter. He's an all-star. He's not no superstar. He's an all-star.
I'm not having this convo. We got to keep the segment going.
He's definitely not a superstar.
I mean, that's my last player, so I'll give y'all a couple of minutes.
He's his
That's my
last
player.
transition. Well,
He's
he's stepping
definitely
out of
not a
his shadow.
superstar.
Okay.
Stepping out of his shadow.
Oh God, he just hit a 3.
Oh,
All
I love
right.
it. I love it. I hope he just keeps scoring as we talk about him right now.
Hey, let him.
I just think he busts his ass, puts in work. Gang came out of a shadow last year, got even better this year. I'm only expecting him to get even better.
Yeah.
And he has experience in big games.
I mean,
bro,
how much
and he's
better are we
performing.
talking about? He's not a 30-point a game guy.
He can be though.
No, he's not.
Okay.
Not playing
Bro,
with
he got
Julius
one of the
Randle.
better. Bro, he can't. He the reason Brandel better than me.
Yeah, but I'm
Like
talking
Brunson-
about points per game. I'm not talking about.
But we talking about
Yeah.
this is guy who can handle a load down the stretch to help your team win. He has one of the better footworks at the one spot than a lot of guards, bro. Like he scores in a crafty way. He got better footwork than most guards.
So but you calling him like a
I think-
superstar? What you saying?
He's on the verge of being a superstar right now to me. You took a shitty
There's
ass
like 5 to
New
10
York
of
team.
those, in my opinion.
You
in
talking
the
about
league.
we took a bunch of guards that's been coming in and out of New York, and careers just dying left and right because of Tom Thibodeau. The reason Tom Thibodeau still got a job right now because of Jalen Brunson, bruh. The Knicks ain't in the playoffs without Jalen Brunson. To me,
No shit.
some of the
bro.
games Dallas won last year, you don't win without Jalen Brunson's production.
I think he's properly rated. That's my opinion.
He was underrated last year because everybody's talking about his 15.
I
think you
disagree.
took a guy who was not
If-
leading the team, switched it to leading the team. To me, that's a real jump. wouldn't even thought about leading the squad the year before. Now you leading the squad this year.
I
And on
think
top of
I
that-
think the narrative around him was that he was always in Luka's shadow. People knew he could do it,
Yeah.
and now he's just proving
I'll
what
take
people
it.
already knew that he
And
could.
he has another scoring jump to come.
I don't think
watched that
anyone
ball
ever
first.
thought he was bad. You know, I don't think anyone was
Everybody
ever.
knew.
Maybe around the draft. So he did.
Well, he was a second rounder in
Yeah.
coming out of the
Yeah.
draft. I'm talking about
Yeah.
over the last couple years. Every time Luka was hurt, he stepped up.
Yeah.
Like so, nobody sat there and was like, "Well, Jalen Brunson's he's pretty bad."
But everybody did say he can't lead a team. He's not that guy to lead a team. And he's leading a fucking terrible New York Knicks team on paper in the playoffs.
I
Like
don't
to
think
me.
they're a terrible team on paper.
You talking about the same team?
On paper, they're not terrible,
Paper.
but they're bad. When you watch it in person,
I'm talking about. I'm still
it-
taking that. I still can't rate it. The guy underrated. He went from 16.3 to 24 this year. He's only
I
gonna
agree.
get better. He's
Okay.
only gonna get better. That's an 8-point jump. He's gonna make another jump.
Okay.
What kind of jump? He ain't no
He's
damn.
gonna make
30
another
point
jump.
Oh, he finally missed.
He's gonna make another jump, bro. We don't need to score 30. We keep throwing 30 out there. Like he don't need to
Because
score
you're talking
30.
about jumps.
Yeah, he's talking about another
24.
jump.
He can go 27 a game to me.
Shit, if we're talking jumps.
27,
is
28.
Lowry marketing a
That might
superstar?
as well be 30. Yeah, bro, literally.
Because he just led a team. And that team's
He's
truly
he's not even a
truly
star.
bad.
He hasn't proved that again to me. I'm talking about somebody who studied doing it in big time situations to me.
All right, he's properly rated. Let's
Yeah.
just stick with that.
Yeah. All right. I said he's under. Okay. Come on. What we got for NFL?
NFL.
Draft is complete. Finally.
Everybody, I want to see some favorite picks. Isaac,
Damn,
let me hear it.
okay.
Jalen Hyatt to the Giants, Jody.
Oh, interesting.
It's a good one.
I like
That is
that
a
a lot.
great pick.
Well, yeah, I think Danny Dimes
I
and
love it.
Slayton.
And then you saw the video that surfaced about he was at a Cowboys workout.
Workout, and they was talking about
And
he
they
couldn't
were
run.
they were kind of questioning him, and then he gets drafted by the Giants, so now he gets to play him twice. And I mean, honestly, with the way their receivers have been going down like flies, he's gonna be getting some significant amount of snaps, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And that's a pretty good team. I mean, depending on how Sterling Shepard comes back, Wandale
And he was
Robinson's
performing,
also
and he
coming
was
back off
performing
of
well
AC.
too.
So was Wandale Robinson for 3
Yeah.
games.
They were performing well.
They might have a sneaky little core. Still got
Yeah.
Saquon, Danny Dimes with the newly signed contract. But yeah, I like that too, Isaac. That was a really good pick. I'm surprised he fell as far as he did.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I'm gonna go with the surprise of the Houston Texans. I know it might be a little bit of a bailout, but I'm going with that. I think they're really showing that they're trying to go for it. Now, granted, they gave up the first round pick for next year, which is dangerous, but can work in the Arizona Cardinals' favor because it could be 1 and 2 pick. You never really know.
And they got a great pick as well.
Yeah, but the fact that you got your franchise quarterback and the fact that you got Roll Tide, Will Anderson to really lead your defense, I think that, you know what, for them, it was, let's not be complacent. Let's really get our franchise quarterback together. Let's get a defensive franchise cornerstone together. Let's see what we can do. They got some good players coming in. Got Devin Singletary, Dalton Schultz, got Robert Woods coming in to replace Brandon Cooks. But I think that it's a building of a solid foundation that they actually have a direction under D'Amico Ryans to actually help them somewhat be successful. So
I mean, if
they're one of my
D'Amico,
surprises.
if he uses Will Anderson in any way like he was using freaking Nick Bosa, they might be looking at a rookie of the year right there.
But you got like an actual direction. You got competent.
Dude, it was a phenomenal
around
start.
CJ,
a
and they
phenomenal
also
start.
bolstered the offensive line as well with Shaq Mason in that trade. So I think with the trades that they did, the signings, and the draft, even though it was a
I
little
would
bit
probably
shocking
give
to
it
see
like
that
a
they did the 1 and
B
2, but
plus. I'd probably
yeah.
give it like a B plus.
yeah, I'd be around there as well. I'm not mad at that.
Do you got any
But
picks?
that's what
that
I
you
got.
like?
I mean, mine was trading back up and getting Will Anderson at 3
Oh, okay.
because the value there is just incredible. I did, however, like this
There you
one.
go. Good pick.
Zay
I
Flowers.
like the back-to-back, honestly,
Yeah,
because they just
Yeah.
lost the Vikings just lost Dillon.
yeah.
So I like the back-to-back.
But yeah,
Pick
Zay
right there.
Flowers.
I
Go ahead.
didn't like the Vikings pick.
Jordan Addison's a dog, bro.
Well, yeah, I take that back. It is the Vikings pick. I don't like it for the Chargers who took Quentin Johnston before they took Jordan Addison in it. I'd rather you took
They took the bigger
rather-
body. They
Yeah,
took the
that's I
bigger,
don't.
more
They have
durable
enough big
body is what
bodies.
they
God
did.
damn it, they got too many big
Interesting.
bodies.
Yeah, but Johnson's been more durable.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were trying to get somebody that can produce and be productive right away because they have two guys that are made of glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
I mean, it might show that
It's
Mike
just a
Will
bigger,
might be
thicker
on
body.
his way out too.
Well, they can get all three of them healthy.
Yeah.
Woo!
That's Keenan in that
That's a
spot.
core.
And I mean, it looks like they're looking to play that deep ball offense that suits Herbert's game a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Zay Flowers pick for the Ravens, along with the signings they've made and stuff like that, they now actually have an offense.
They got something. They
Bro,
got
think
something
about the
now.
fact that they made the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
They were only a game away from winning the division.
Yep. Lamar missed
Lamar
many
missed
games.
like fucking almost half the season.
Rashad Bateman missed
half
more
the
than half the
season.
season.
Mark Andrews missed some games.
Yeah.
Wait.
They were down to like
That's
their
for the
third or
next
fourth-
one. Hold on. That's the next one. Wait.
All right, sorry.
Relax. You ain't
It was
ahead.
down to like their third or fourth string running back. Okay.
The one I got though, my bad. Go ahead.
No,
I
go
already
ahead.
said mine.
'Cause
No, the one I was gonna
I'm gonna
say-
go on a roll here.
There's another
Are you?
one.
Don't tell me you're going with. Are you going with who I think you're gonna go with?
Go ahead.
You're
Dude.
from
Go
the
ahead.
area?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going with Chicago. I think that they
No,
did
go ahead.
great. I'd say Chicago. They just overall with the draft that they did, being able to trade back again, get more assets. I think that's what you really need. But the fact that they really went defense, you got linebacker, you got a two defensive
tackles.
tackles, and Javon Dexter, Zach Pickens, and then you got a corner and Tyreek Stevenson in the second round. So I think
Oh,
he did a
that's
hell of a
the
job
second
in the second.
But they best pick was my little homie out of Cincinnati though at the wide receivers position, Tyler Scott. Though
Hey,
like
just another
I think
just another
Darnell
weapon
Wright
I picked, but
he's better
yeah.
than Chase Claypool, brick hands, Mr. Stone hands over here.
Now that pick, I'm mad that we still gave that up because Joey Porter, I think, is gonna be a dog.
Oh, and first, oh my God,
Oh, man.
that was painful. That was
Yeah.
painful. He was actually
But-
one of the two or three guys that was invited to the first day that didn't get picked, along
Yeah.
with like Will Levis, and there was another.
Bro, they need to take
Another
that
guy.
camera
I got
off.
two other picks I
That
like
was-
too though.
All right, my first pick that I like,
Get yours out though.
first pick that I like, the number one overall pick, Bryce Young.
Oh my God, I
I
had
love
a
it.
feeling.
Bryce Young, I think it's a phenomenal pick. Will he probably get battered to the ground multiple times in his first season? Yes, he probably will.
Yeah.
But if he can survive the first season, similar to what Trevor Lawrence kind of had to do, I think we will see another rebolster next year as they continue
Yeah.
to rebuild. I think he will be a very, very good pick for them. And I think he's their quarterback of the future, man. He's a
I
dog.
say so.
He's a dog. I love Bryce. My
Roll
next
Tide.
favorite pick. I would. It's not even just a pick as much as it's just like an overall sequence of events. The freaking Philadelphia
Yeah.
Eagles. What the fuck,
Dude,
man?
I was so unhappy.
What the
to see-
hell
I
is
just-
going
I
on?
just kept getting notification after notification.
Just dynamite move after dynamite move after
Right
dynamite
move?
move.
I was
I was
like,
like,
oh,
what is
we-
happening?
they got
Well,
a
the
little
thing,
this offseason.
I was
That's nice.
annoyed because I saw them go Bijan at 8, and I was like, oh, perfect. We're about to get Jalen
Mhm.
Carter. I was
yeah,
like, dynamite. We need a D tackle. And then I
Yep.
saw the trade. We pick up a second rounder next year. I'm like, all right, I guess. Go grab a OT. I would have preferred Paris Johnson, but I knew he wasn't sliding that far to 9 or 10.
or even the dude from Northwestern.
Bro,
a lot of people have
Darnell
concerns
Wright is
about
way more physical
Skoronski.
than Skoronski.
Oh,
Skoronski's
yeah,
just got
but-
short little arms. He only like 6'1", 290. Darnell's 6'5",
Yeah, this is
330, 7-foot wingspan.
Didn't allow a sack.
That's what
last
you're looking
season.
for. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
you
mean,
ask Will Anderson.
Trent Williams, look at
Ask Will Anderson who the hardest player he played against. It was Darnell Wright.
that guy. Yeah.
him.
I mean, he was protecting Hendon Hooker the entire time.
Someone
Hendon
Hey,
Hooker only got hurt because he
the
wanted to
thing-
run around.
Hey, that's
The
a big
thing-
pickup for the Lions though.
Yes, it
Mhm.
is.
The
Yes,
thing
it
was
is.
though, for me, with Philadelphia, obviously they were losing all of these players, but again, it just shows the pedigree that they're on, I think, the scouting that they're on right now, and the players that they know to fill those roles because you literally got those guys now for 3, 4, 5 years, 5 years more than likely if they play
Yeah.
well.
This was
But
my
to also save your cap
I got it.
space. To also save
So
your cap
before
space at the end of
Vitor
it, but
steals
yeah.
my point again,
yeah.
the freaking screw Jalen Carter. The Nolan Smith pickup. They was talking about Nolan Smith going in like the top 10 to 15.
Yeah.
And he slid
Yeah.
all the way to almost out of the first round. That dude speed from sideline to sideline. I mean, he is going to be a menace. I mean, we're talking about tackling, but yet can blitz. They're going to be insane at all three levels because they were able to bring back the secondary or the guys in their secondary that we thought they were going to lose. And then they just, oh my God. Nolan Smith was a dog. I'm just saying. People always talk about the guys that rack up the stats, but I'm
It's
telling you.
incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah, and they got DeAndre Swift, which was crazy.
That
Like,
was
That made sense though, just because, when I saw the Jahmyr Gibbs pick by the Lions, I was like, man, that's a hell of a reach, especially when you have Montgomery and Swift, and then the next 2 days later they trade Swift, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Cheaper option. That's what the NFL is all about right now.
Yeah,
You know, getting the
100%.
cheaper option,
Yeah.
getting rid
I
of
don't
the
know why they
players,
got him
but-
in the second.
I mean,
round.
at least they didn't draft a kicker in the 3rd round.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
Yeah.
ridiculous.
But
Boy,
let's see
JSN,
here.
the Seahawks. I love it though.
I was gonna say I
Yeah,
like the Will
another
Levis
sneaky
move
one.
as well. I don't know if it.
I think it's a really
fits
good
there.
spot for him, to be honest, because he's just a Ryan
Man.
Tannehill with a cannon.
Yeah, but who is
I
he
ain't
Who are you
throwing?
throwing to? Who are you throwing to?
Traylon Burks.
I don't think he's going to be throwing to anyone this season. I think he'll be in practice. He will.
I guarantee you he's starting by the halfway through.
I mean,
the
probably
season.
Tannehill's probably going to
He
fall
might.
apart again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
it's
just
always a
saying.
given at that point. But I don't think it's a good spot for him at all, though. I really don't.
The Eagles had some good picks later on.
I was gonna
too.
say the two picks I liked in the middle was Christian Gonzalez fell pretty far, and I
Yeah.
think the page he fits the kind of Patriots MO.
And Tyree Wilson isn't
Tyree Wilson, no, he went early. He went 7.
No, it was the other guy who went to New England that his video was going viral that he wasn't it. No, you're right. It was him. Yeah, you're right. He's the big defensive end, right?
Yes.
Oh, no,
massive.
yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Never mind. From Texas Tech. Yes, you're right. Never mind.
Yes. I was gonna say the other one was Jack Campbell. If you ever watched some Big Ten college
Yeah.
football,
Yeah.
that dude's an
I was
absolute
about to
menace.
say that.
He's like
Yeah.
6'5",
a move
long ass arms,
a move that
real
I-
quick from side to side.
that I hated, but I also and I hate it as a fan and not as a I think it's good for the player. I just hate it. Is JSN to Seattle?
I
dude,
just
that's
said that too.
that's so good.
I wanted that.
Mhm.
There were so many teams
Do you
that
have any
needed.
idea how much he's gonna eat in that
Oh, I know.
slot?
There were so many teams that needed wide receiver more than them, and for them to
Yeah.
get him out of the draft is just so annoying.
I think they're gonna have
Oh,
a
they
big
could've-
year.
They could have honestly, if they would have went Zay Flowers too,
That's probably would have been
who
their
would have
route,
they
yeah.
would have
Yeah.
went if
Yeah.
Jason was gone. But dude, he's gonna eat in the slot with DK and Lockett opposite of him. They're gonna be so
Yeah.
scary.
It's gonna
I
be
ain't
good,
gonna lie,
man.
and my last favorite pick was Dalton Kincaid to Buffalo.
Yeah, dude, we might see like some Patriots type offense when they had Aaron Gonzalez and or Aaron
Yeah.
Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some double
Uh,
tight end action with Steph
And
on the
then Dalton.
outside.
Yeah. We'll just have to see.
Dawson
The Ringo
Dawson
pick.
Knox still up?
Yeah, he is.
yeah,
He
he's
got
still-
signed. They re-signed him. Yeah.
Yep, he's
So that'll be interesting. That'll be maybe I don't know. Maybe he gets more targets this year because last year he barely got anything except for in the playoffs a bit. But other than that, he was very very quiet. So we'll have to see how that goes.
But yeah, man, the Eagles draft was incredible.
it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
A+.
that Ringo
A+
pick
for
in the
them.
4th round. Maybe
A+.
I wanted him on. I wanted the Niners to take that somewhere in the 3rd with one of our 3 picks. Pick the kicker.
Yeah.
I understand
you guys
it.
are poised for a down year.
We needed it.
You guys are poised for a down year.
Yeah. I think we'll be the same as long as our defense stays healthy. Just kind of
I feel
always
like you're
how our-
poised for a 4-12 year again. Just
That
like
too.
after, it's like the last time after you made the Super Bowl.
we didn't make the Super Bowl this time.
Yeah, you should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
But
You should have.
let's get into the next one here. So obviously we talked about one of their picks, Zay
Yes.
Flowers to the Ravens. Ravens re-signed Lamar, so they're actually getting some weapons around him.
Great pick.
What do we expect?
Great pick.
Do we expect kind of the same of what we've seen so far with the Ravens team that's led by Lamar? Kind of middling,
jump.
having a good regular season. Do we expect less, or do we expect them to surpass expectations? Which I guess we can say expectations have risen to them getting to the AFC title game or even to the Super Bowl.
I mean, they definitely have to get At
I
least
don't think,
if they're gonna lose in the AFC in the playoffs, it has to be to like the Bengals, the Chiefs.
yeah,
That's where they're at now.
I still don't
Okay.
I
think
was
they're
gonna
better
say
than.
Buffalo
I,
too.
Oh yeah,
over there.
Buffalo.
yeah, I think Buffalo got better. I still don't think they can beat the Chiefs.
Hmm.
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
they go.
I think
I mean,
they
it's
can.
one game.
They're with how solid their defense is and has been most of
Yeah,
the season.
Pat, Pat
They
Quinn,
really just needed some weapons for Lamar to
Oquan.
not be able to do it himself.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
why
I
I
think
think.
that'll manage the game more, in my opinion, for that defense to actually perform,
That's enough
And I
especially
think
for those
also,
corners. So,
I just think that it's just so many questions on the offensive side of the ball to me because it's just like, is OBJ gonna be what just OBJ, or
yeah,
like is Rashad Bateman and them gonna stay healthy? Is Lamar Jackson gonna finally find Mark Andrews in between the numbers? Like, it's a lot of questions I think that's heading to this, and I feel like there'll be. I really want to say they surpass like at least touch expectations a little bit. I still got them like sitting like right there, like 10-6, 10-7 around that range.
10-6 won the division last year.
Yeah, and that's why I got them still sitting like right there again at that same
Or
range.
10-7. I'm sorry.
Because
Yeah.
everybody else to me, I feel like made better moves than them.
yeah.
Like I feel like if they play the Jets, I got the Jets right now just because it's
I
Aaron
think
Rodgers.
I think right now with the Ravens, it's more so now of a little bit of a long game to kind of see
Mhm.
how these players progress, especially Zay Flowers. I
Yep.
think is going to be an important piece to see how he actually progresses. But I think now that Lamar has his money, I think now it's more so of like, okay, we got a timeline a bit. You know, he's signed, he's not really going anywhere. He can, let's say he requests a trade. I won't say that's probably until year 3 or year 4. But I think Super Bowl or even AFC title game this year is kind of crazy. I would say maybe next year,
Yeah,
the
I
year
would say
after, but I think it's kind of going to be middling a bit. I don't think they get out of the divisional round though, or even if they make the wild card, it's going to be very tough for them as well too. So I still think it's going to be the same things. I don't think anything's going to really change in my
Yeah,
opinion.
that's why I'm on. Great moves. I
So
just don't think.
yeah. hmm I just think other teams have more proven talent for their quarterbacks to work with. I still think that you still got, again, like you said, with OBJ, we don't know what to expect with him. I think he will have a decent year, but nothing like of a New York Giants, type of year or anything like that. It's very tough, in my opinion.
I don't know. I'm kind of disagreeing with y'all.
Yeah.
Personally, I think they're gonna kind of meddle a little bit early to get chemistry. But I'm looking here at a quote unquote, we kind of just shat on them and how they were battered last year, missing pieces last year. They finished 10-7 and they lost 5 one-score games. So give them 2 or 3 of those one-score games, they win the division.
One of those was
Give them Odell.
against Miami.
Give them
Yeah.
give them healthy running backs.
Yeah.
Give them healthy Lamar. Give
Well, and I
them.
think-
You're adding so
yeah.
many different things, and they lost 5 one-score games by 4 points or less. That's 12-6, or I'm sorry, 12-5. That's 13-4. I think they're gonna give Cincinnati a run for their money, and Cincinnati was a team who they didn't have their footing early either.
That's true.
They ran their last like 10 or 11 going into the playoffs.
And they
win.
needed to do that. They needed to do that.
I definitely think, and Baltimore, they're like I said, they're a very physical defense, very physical team. They don't give up that many points unless you're a pretty high octane offense. That just puts up numbers like that, anyways.
Okay.
I'm going. I think they get to like 11 to 12 wins, and I think they really push Cincinnati for the division. Again,
Yeah.
it's not successful to just win the division. You do want to make a run, but the AFC's tough, man. I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo gets ousted right away. I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati loses right away. It's just the AFC's a gauntlet.
Yeah.
Especially when you added the Jets now being the proposed
Presumably,
front
yeah.
runner,
Yeah.
with such a high power moves that they made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Baltimore looks good, man. They've made all the right moves for how rough and rigid the offseason looked. When it
Mhm.
got down to around the draft, they've made the right moves and they've drafted
Yeah.
the right guys. They've signed the right guys. Again, they're going to get running backs back that are healthy. They're going to get offensive linemen back that are healthy. They're going to get guys back. I think they're a good team.
Yeah.
I'm always scared if I see a Ravens, if I'm another team. And again, they know how to play their
Yeah.
division.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah,
better
yeah.
than any other division in
Mhm.
football.
Yep.
Always close games, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Always.
And I think you mentioned the, questions about OBJ. And I think they're in a position now with Bateman and
And Zay
Flowers
and
that
Mark Andrews.
they can afford to have questions over OBJ because even if he's not the player we all expect or want him to be, they might not need that.
He just needs to be there late. That's all
Yeah.
he needs to do is just be there late.
They just because now they have having options. That's the biggest thing about the Ravens offense was that how many guys did you have to double on that team at any point? Right. And
Yeah.
even then, right, scheme wise, it wasn't that. Now you actually have guys who can do different things. They're probably going to still put the punt return or Duvernay running over the top to take the lid off the defense. So that's going to create gaps over the middle, field for guys like Bateman and Flowers and OBJ to work. So I think now they just have so many options that teams are not going to be able to key in on, hey, let's shut down this guy. Let's contain Lamar's run game as best we can, and we've got this. It's not that easy anymore.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
How
See, I like your argument a lot too, because like you said, they struggled with a lot, but they were still there at the end. And then only imagine
Yeah,
them
like I want to
without
pick
the-
them. I just feel
Would you have thought 10-7? That's
Like, what
that's
you
a
mean?
pretty good team. Would you like if you
And
would
that's
have
my
just
thing. Like,
if you would have just like thought back on how their season went, would you have
Oh,
thought 10-7?
this is a 10-7 team with all this happening. Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
that's true.
And then
That's true.
again, losing 5 games by 1 score, and I'm pretty sure they were leading in 3 or 4 of those games going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But when
Okay.
you're not healthy and your defense is on the field for 3/4 of the game, you're probably
Yeah.
going to be tired and lose those
Yeah.
games.
What the fuck is this?
What you got, I, that you want to finish off with?
I was just saying, I agree with you.
What the fuck is that?
I agree with them though, because that's the one thing I really want to say they're gonna surpass. I just think they're just gonna be sitting at that 10-7 or that 10-7 mark again. Just because
Alright.
it's just because like we just said, the AFC a gauntlet. I think they're gonna do well. I still think 10 wins is good, but
But here's the thing: they
just-
finished in second, so they're not going to play the first place teams of every division.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're going to play whoever finished second,
So it might work out in their
and
favor.
they
Yeah.
play their division, which again
And
they
that's also-
play their
but
division
that's that-
insane.
They also have the second best middle linebacker.
and I only
in the
tied
league.
that 7 in with Pittsburgh too, though. I think Pittsburgh gonna be a little.
I'll
bit
agree
better.
with you now.
Pittsburgh too. Pittsburgh, yeah.
I got
Might be-
Pittsburgh being
might
a
be
little
decent.
bit better, and that's why I gotta. Yeah, I can see them sitting around.
They're
the
not as good as
10-7
the
mark.
Ravens. They're
Oh,
not
no,
close
no.
to the
Not-
Ravens.
But they always play these close games, so that goes.
They
either
might,
way to me.
they might split, but they're not the Ravens. No,
No.
that's my opinion.
Alright.
I
Alright.
got you on that.
Now to get
Run
into
this,
kind of
run
yeah,
this,
a little
run
bit
this.
we'll go through this here. We'll give off our names, but at least to give myself some redemption from last year a bit. I know that we're focusing
Run this.
typically on the AFC. Derek Carr wasn't a top 10 quarterback, obviously. But we're gonna name off here after post Rodgers trade. We're gonna give off our top 5 AFC quarterbacks heading into the year of what we believe. So, you wanna go first, or y'all want me
Hey,
to
I
go?
go first.
He said,
Yeah, you go first.
Y'all want me to go
That's
first?
what I was hoping you was going first.
redemption, baby.
All right. So post Rodgers trade, top five AFC quarterbacks. Number 1, Patty Mahomes. Obviously, I think you got to go Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
led them-
let's just start 2 through 4 for the rest of us.
Yeah.
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 Number 2, I'm actually gonna go with Joe Burrow as second quarterback in the AFC.
I agree.
Number 3, I will go with Josh Allen. And then number 4, I will go with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh,
And then number 5, I'm gonna round that out with Lamar Jackson.
oh my
You got
god!
the same list, Danny.
Interesting.
That's
You
what I'm
got
going
the
with.
same list,
Really?
Danny.
That's interesting.
That's
I'm
what I'm
curious
going
where you
with.
go with this.
I'm so torn.
I'll go. So I'm
I was
going
torn at
Patty.
5.
I'm going Patty.
Yep. I mean, that's a given.
I'm going Joe.
Yep.
I'm going Josh.
Okay.
This is where it gets.
Patty, Joe,
Dicey.
Josh, Justin, Lamar.
Oof.
See, I was torn with the last two.
And I freaking can't stand the hype that Justin Herbert gets. But from a pure talent standpoint, he is very insane, and I do think he will have an incredible year with the coaching regime change and the weapon they grabbed. Hopefully, we can see a healthy year from either Mike Will or Keenan Allen. Don't got to be both, one or the other.
Or at least just alternate your
Right,
games off, guys.
Don't got to be both,
Yeah.
one or the other.
All right.
Only needs two guys to throw to. Can't give him one.
He can do
Eckler's still gonna get you 20.
He can do well. He requested a trade, so that's.
I ain't gonna lie.
I didn't see
I
enough
think-
from Aaron
what's
last year
this?
to throw him in the top 5. And he went to a stronger conference for me in quarterback play, especially at the top tier of the.
I'm not even sure. I'm either in agreement with you or I'm swapping Lamar and Herbo.
But it's
But
those
it's
5.
it's those
right?
5
It's
for
those
me.
5. Yeah. That's my opinion. And I
I
would say
had
Tua,
Herbo
I would
sooner.
say Tua and Rodgers, when Tua's healthy, he's slinging.
Well, we're gonna have to find out next season. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
we'll see if he's rolling around with mush brain again on the floor in a week.
Wow, man.
I don't want to see that guy get
That's
sacked.
I can't
crazy,
believe
man.
y'all both left Herbert off.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. The list came down to like, I just think with Rodgers getting his pieces back, I really watch Rodgers work with like a shittier core, but now he gets like a dominant young receiver in Garrett Wilson to me. And I think he's gonna elevate his game this year.
Y'all see that what he said about Garrett Wilson today?
No, well, if I did, I probably would have changed my list if it's something bad negative.
No, he said it the way he
Ah,
the demon
Satan!
he said it the way he
Danny,
breaks
picture
out
that.
of routes reminds him of another 17. Devontae.
Yeah, and like, yeah, see, I ain't gonna lie. And then to me, I just think Lamar gonna have a.
But what? Listen to me. What
I
does
don't know, bro.
Garrett Wilson have to do with the rest of the list?
I think Rodgers.
How
'cause he
did
makes
Rodgers play
better.
last year?
I think Rodgers because he brought his best receiver from the team last year and brought it with an even more
Played
dominant.
half the game.
Christian Watson's still in Green Bay.
Correct. Thank you. Thank you.
I think Allen Lazard gonna be great for them.
He'll never be great anywhere. He can be good, but he'll never.
I mean,
be great.
he'll be a good here
It don't
because he'll be
matter.
the number 2.
Look, we're not doing this. I'm not doing this today. I'm going Aaron Rodgers. in
Of
the
all
first slot.
people. I did not expect you to be hyping up. Fucking
What do you
Allen
mean? He
Lazard.
hyped up Tom Brady till his downfall.
Well, no, I'm talking about Alan Lazard. Forget Aaron Rodgers. I'm talking about hyping up Alan Lazard.
Yeah,
Of
bro.
all people.
Yeah, I'm not really hyped. I don't want to
Lazard.
hype up. You know what? This ain't my episode. This ain't my.
Danny.
We still have a baseball segment. We're gonna have to
The list. Or, I'm sorry, your mic. Plug it in better again.
I ain't
Or
gonna lie.
fix
Can
it
I make
again.
a switch?
Switch,
Can I make a
please?
switch? Can I take
Only if
Rodgers
it's a good
out?
one.
and just I'm taking Rodgers out. We're gonna slide Lamar to 4, and I'm putting Herbert at 5.
So you have the same list as Vitor.
I mean, I'm not sure. They're in constant
Fuck
rotation.
around,
I
put
have,
Tua in that bitch.
I'm sticking with mine. I'm sticking.
Is it
with
better
mine.
now?
oh, that's
is
way
it
better.
way better?
I'm sticking with mine.
Matter of
I
fact,
like,
fuck all.
I like my list.
I'm still different. I'm going Lamar at the 4. I'm putting Tua at 5.
Okay.
Hey, I know we got receipts of this man shitting on Tua, but I like
Tua at
it.
5.
But I like it.
I'll take
All right,
Tua
so
at
get-
5.
Tua
so-
healthy.
That's the
is-
worst. That's
Go-
the
go-
one downside of doing a podcast. There's always receipts.
Go
I'll
go through it
find
for me
it.
one more
If
time. I
If it ever
Go through
gets
it for me,
heated,
1 through
I'll go
5.
find
Alright.
him.
So my 1 is Mahomes. 2 is gonna be Joe Shiesty. 3 is Josh Allen.
Mhm.
4 we made Lamar Jackson, and 5 I'm gonna take the man out of Bama with the left hand. Tua tackle
Alright.
lower.
All right, you ready?
And
I'm going Kermit the Frog. I'm going Joe Shiesty. I'm going Joshy. I'm going Lamb Jack. No, Herbo and then Lamb Jack.
Okay.
Lambos?
Lamb Jacks, Lambos at 5.
Lamb chops?
Lamb chops?
V, you got the same order?
Yeah, I can't decide between who I'm putting 4 or 5, Herbert and Lamar, but they're both there. They're on a rotisserie. They're just
A rotisserie?
4 or 5. 4 or 5. 4 or 5.
Yeah,
All right.
that's where we're at.
Awesome. All right. Well,
Herbert
we'll
Jackson.
see.
Herbert
We'll
Jackson.
see what people think. Hopefully, some of us are right. Hopefully, I made some redemption in the AFC at least. So we'll definitely do a top 10 one. We'll probably do a NFC top 5 next week, and then we'll before obviously when closer to when the season starts and everything kind of settles down, we'll do a a top 10 in total as well for our QB list here. So next thing and last thing we're going to get into here for number 48 here for you guys for the episode. It's going to be MLB. Got our first quarter grades pretty much for the season are out right now. And who do we believe is passing? Who's falling? At least we can go maybe, disappointed, surprised, or anything of that nature. So, what you got for me? Who do you got? Either who do you believe is passing or disappointing?
I've been disappointed all year. My Mariners is disappointing. God damn it, disappointing. D plus. They got a D plus. I feel like it's almost that same. I
They've
just
been
don't have
pretty
a feeling.
bad though.
Like last year, they started out like trash, but I just feel like this is not changing to me. Like Robbie Ray, we lost Robbie Ray last week. I swear, I thought Colton Wong was a good pickup, but he's been trash this year.
Yeah.
And like the pickups we did have to replace the people who was trash last year ain't no better this year.
Yeah, and the problem is I feel like the Angels are decent, the Rangers are crazy, the Astros are still the Astros. So you're in a pretty tough division
Already, and it's like I just don't see them turning it around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, obviously, I'll just go to the first team, the Chicago White Sox.
Hey, 2-game win streak.
Shout out. We lost 10 in a row. Pretty much we were sitting at what, 4 and 5? Oh, they got it right here. 5 and 6. So I was close.
Yeah.
We was 5 and 6. Eloy went out. Eloy came back. TA and Yo-Yo went out. We lost 10 in a row.
Typical story.
The wheels fell off.
Our pitching ain't shit.
Our pitching is terrible.
It's getting better.
Our pitching. If your name's not, I mean, even Dillon had a really bad last start.
Yeah.
But if your name's not Dillon
C,
Cease, you ain't throwing the ball pretty well at all.
Yeah.
It's been bad all around. We're not hitting. I mean, I was telling Danny, I was like, we got Benintendi at 280, we got Andrew Vaughn at 250, and the rest of the lineup is like 210 and 180.
Sounds familiar.
So
yeah.
The roles have reversed. Now we have guys hitting around 3.
I really appreciate though the best team for me. I really like is Pittsburgh.
I'm happy for him.
I know nobody expected Pittsburgh to be good.
Especially with O'Neal Cruz out for the first 4 months of the season.
Broke his ankle or fractured his ankle or something like that.
Slide.
Yeah, bad slide. Yep.
I got
it wasn't even a slide.
Yeah, it was just more like a flop. It just threw himself at the bag.
At least for me, the team that I'm going to go with as far as disappointing, and I think it was kind of expected, but I don't know if this might be from a player standpoint, managerial standpoint, but I believe something still needs to change is the New York Yankees, in my opinion.
Well, actually, I think did they lose today?
They won.
They lost yesterday.
They won 4-2 today.
Yeah.
So they lost yesterday and Boston won yesterday. So they were sitting at the
they
bottom
didn't
of
just
the
lose
AL
yesterday. They got dumped.
They to me
2 days ago.
No, they only lost 3-2 yesterday. They were winning 2-0 the
before.
entire game.
15-1 on Sunday. That's what it was.
Yeah, to me, the Yankees are in a similar spot, kind of like in the beginning of the 2010s, early 2010s, to where they have the talent, but they're banking on players with injury issues already, and with players getting up there in age that they are not able to move or they cannot afford to get rid of because they have nothing in the pipeline to replace those players. And even lately with their
is the only one.
Exactly. And even with the players that they have coming up, they don't fit like the certain positions, except for the player that you just said, and Anthony Volpe, hometown guy. But Aaron Hicks, terrible. Willie Calhoun, terrible. Giancarlo Stanton, injured again, going to be out for probably 2 months. Aaron Judge on the injured list. It just goes on. And I just think that they are going back to a similar position.
Fucking Rizzo.
Exactly. Yep. He's been their most consistent.
Got there last year halfway through.
Yep. Carlos Rondon hurt. Typical.
Rodon.
Gets a bit. Oh, Rodon, I'm sorry.
Actually,
Rondon,
pretty much their entire starting rotation outside of
Ecuador
and
Garrett Cole.
And German. German's been decent, but pulling him out, he should have finished the game. But it's just the same story with me, kind of going back into the early 2010s. But the most surprising team, I was going to go the same way. Pittsburgh. They've been bad for a long time. Andrew McCutchen comes back, is playing phenomenal baseball for them, really leading them. Carlos Santana's been decent.
That's because that's 3 old guys. Because Rich Hill's been pretty solid too. Because
Mhm.
you're looking at McCutcheon 36, Santana 37, Rich Hill's in his 40s.
Yeah.
That mix of youth.
Brian
and
Reynolds is
experience.
ridiculous.
And they just
Brian
re-signed him.
Hayes is ridiculous.
Yeah.
O'Neal
So-
Cruz would kind of anchor that trio of younger guys for them.
Yeah. But that's my surprise and my disappointment so far.
I didn't give y'all my surprise.
What's the surprise?
It's the Cubs.
Competitive, but they're falling off a bit.
Tailing off, yeah.
Yeah.
3-7 in
But
the last
it's
10.
Here's
It's
what I'll say.
expected, though.
The Cubs,
I did
their
tell us.
offense, pretty solid.
Mhm.
But their pitching is so inconsistent. And when you have only
Yeah.
one side of the ball
Yeah.
that is consistent, you're going to be a 500 club.
Especially if it's the offensive side. If you have elite pitching all around, you can typically
Correct.
you're gonna sneak by winning.
Like look at
Yeah.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Elite offense, not the greatest pitching outside of probably Kevin Gausman this year. Alec
Yeah.
Manoah's had a fairly down year to start.
Barrios
They're
is still
also
trash.
sitting okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Cubs for me, when you've still got with the way the Pirates are playing, the Reds have been okay. I mean,
Cardinals.
St. Louis has been the worst team in the division. They'll probably find their footing again. They're
Footing,
too
yeah.
talented not to. The Brewers have been the best team in the division still. They are a team that kind of like similar to what Vitor was talking about, strictly pitching.
Yep.
Like that's
Yeah.
what they pride themselves on.
Yeah,
That's how
they're
they get
18 and
by. The
10.
bullpen's pretty solid. They've got 2 aces. And they score runs when they need it. They're a timely hitting team. So it's gonna be tough for the Cubs to really make a push for the playoffs.
Which I don't think
Yeah.
is really should be their goal anyway.
No, you still want to keep rebuilding, but they
Yeah.
made a lot of moves to be competitive and
Yeah.
kind of get back into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say with Isaac, the surprise, I do agree because I think they're better than I think most people were
Mhm.
expecting to this point.
Yeah.
So I will say I do agree with that.
For sure.
So my surprise is it's not as much of a surprise, but it's how much they've done. And it's the Rays, man. They're so good. Like
I think this is one of their like I know this is probably one of their best starts, but this is like in convincing fashion for me. Like they've always been good, but like to be good this
we
early.
expected them to be good, but like in baseball, how often are teams this good?
Yeah.
Like they have a current win
The
percentage
Yankees
of
did this last
80%. If the Yankees, they always fall off. We'll see if the Rays do. You talked about it. Randy's a career 280 guy hitting. He's already down.
A
to
lot of these guys
225.
are career not over 300 guys.
Randy was hitting
Yeah.
350 for the longest and had a slump around the last week or so. Got him
both
down to
of the
325.
lows.
Mhm.
Wander's been fairly okay.
Yeah.
I would say the 2
He's
guys that
been
have really been
inconsistent.
good for them, Yandy Diaz has been pretty good. I would say,
Mhm.
like you said,
Yeah.
Randy Rosarena has been
Yeah. I
consistently
mean, he's
the
probably
star.
MVP right now, a favorite in the NL.
I would say Shohei.
In the NL.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
No,
the
AL.
Yeah,
the hell
Yeah,
you talking
sorry.
about, bro?
I'm
Yeah.
scuffed up. I literally have it here, and it's just.
No, I'm
said-
sorry. Shohei
I'm
is
still going
look-
Shohei.
Yeah,
He's
Shohei's
so
looking
good.
like a back
The
to back.
only, the only pitcher you can
I'm
back
still going
on that
Shohei.
team.
Well, Aaron Judge won last year, but
Oh, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
should be a
Sh-
3-peat, honestly. I would say my other surprise for me was the Rangers because I know we talked about
Yeah,
Spent a lot of money.
and they spent a lot of money. DeGrom, Evaldi, Andrew Haney. The pitching's solid, and the bullpen could maybe get a little better, but yeah, man, they've been getting massive production from the lineup between guys who honestly you weren't expecting to get production between like Josh Jung, Jonah Heim,
Mhm.
Adolis Garcia has been pretty solid, at least with driving in runs and he's not hitting for too much average.
No.
Marcus Simeon's
He was at
going to
one
be
point.
consistent at the top, and they're doing all this right now without Corey Seager.
Yeah, even Jankowski's been good for them.
He's right,
Yeah.
and that's more of recent too, with
Yeah.
the last 2 to 3 weeks because he didn't
With
start
Seager
great.
out, yeah.
But yeah, Corey Seager is not even playing, and they're in first or second in the East, right?
They are
West.
first.
Or in the West.
First
I'm
in the
sorry.
West.
They're first in the
Right.
West.
They're
Right?
currently up.
And I know they were one of the worst teams in baseball last year, so they're definitely
turnaround
a
for 'em.
big turnaround. But again, when you spend that much money, this
Yeah.
is what you expect. So it's good that they're kind of reaping the benefits
Yeah.
from that. And I
But-
personally, I know for all of us,
Mhm.
hate seeing the Astros on top. So if it's going to be a struggle for the Astros to even make the playoffs out of that division, because I mean, again, we
I
talk
like it.
about the Angels are good.
Yeah.
You know, they struggle. They're not a convincing team, but when you've got 2 guys that are that star-studded, I mean, we
Yeah.
had a game yesterday. They lost 7-5. or 2 days ago, I think they lost 7-5. Trout was like 3 for 5 with 5
I remember,
RBIs.
yeah.
Ohtani
Typical.
had 2 extra base hits, but they still lost. So they're gonna
Typical.
lose those games. But I like that the West is competitive because I would enjoy to see Houston struggle to make it.
When you go
Again, they're still missing McCullers and Altuve and
Missing
Michael
a lot,
Brantley, but
Yeah.
click into that game that you mentioned, it's Trout hit sac fly to left.
that was Sunday, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
then
it was
Trout
the
homer to
Braves,
center,
the
and then
Brewers.
Trout homer to center.
Bro,
It's a scoring place.
No.
All five runs are brought in by Trout.
it's just comical when they lose.
Yeah.
It's honestly impressive how they managed to lose some of these games.
And they're pretty talented.
They are. They've
Yeah,
been
I like the Rangers. Look out
Yeah.
for the Rangers,
Yeah.
man.
I'm gonna
When they
say
get Corey Seager back and they get healthy.
disappointment.
Seri.
I think you mentioned it. When you spend money, you expect to win, and the Mets and the Padres have not been.
Padres will be fine.
Yeah, I think they will.
Through first quarter, they have not been good enough. I think the pitching for the Padres has really been the biggest letdown.
That's
I
what
mean,
was gonna say.
And I mean Manny has not been anywhere near what he was
He's-
last
he's
year.
been trash.
I think he's hitting like 230.
But I think when you get Tatis back, it's gonna.
Well, he is back. He's
balance.
just working his way back up. Yeah.
I'm saying he's got it.
Manny's at 237. Tatis is
Manny's
up
gonna pick it up
to
though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tatis is up to
I'm
Once
not
Once
worried
they
as
once
much
yeah
about the
once that
Padres,
weather
yeah.
warmer weather hits for them,
Yeah.
they'll be good.
yeah.
because X
That's
has
all that
been
matters.
consistent. Nelson Cruz at 43 has been insane for them. They still got the likes of Jake Cronenworth, Hassan Kim.
Yeah.
They've
got
a
weapons.
They've got-
solid
no, they-
lineup. The
that's
pitching is what's
Yeah.
killing them right now. They're
Yeah.
not getting quality.
Which,
starts
and that's
from
what
guys that
that's
you're
what they
expecting.
spent a lot
Blake
of their money on
Snell
last year.
is one of the worst. He's got like a 7. I think it's 7 walks per 9 innings.
Mm.
This is like the 3rd worst in baseball. Musgrove has been mediocre. Yu Darvish has been up and
Yep.
down. He's had a good start and a bad start. You're struggling. You lost your 4th and 5th, one of your 4 or 5 guys, and Mike Clevenger going to Chicago. So
Yeah.
you lost some pieces, but
Musgrove is
dude,
Yeah.
don't even talk about it.
No,
Yeah.
we'll be good though. But it'll be interesting to see. It's
and,
very
I mean,
it's
Snell also always starts the season terribly.
yeah.
That's just
it's-
what he does.
Bad though. Actually,
This
I
is
think he
really
pitched
bad.
good.
He
yesterday.
pitched okay yesterday. Yeah, he pitched well.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 earned. Is it 3 earned for him or was it? Let me check.
I don't think so. He had a good start yesterday.
Yeah, 3 earned in 6 innings. So
Mm.
7
Getting better.
strikeouts, no walks. That's the big part.
getting better.
Controlled
Getting better.
his
All
pitches.
right, Danny.
But yeah, that'll bring us to an end here for episode number 48. Again,
This
we're
is
still
what
counting
happens when
down.
all three things are getting back into season. Now.
Yeah,
Now we
We got
yeah.
longer episodes again.
Yeah, but we grind through it. Again, we're going on our countdown to number 50 for us here on the podcast. So again, thank you all for the support. It's been awesome. Again, take a look at our videos that we'll be posting this week. Full episode is going to be uploaded on YouTube for that way you guys can check it out. But stay tuned again for our episode next week for number 49. Getting closer to that countdown for 50. Thank you all again for the support. Have a great rest of the week, and we'll keep y'all up to date on what's going to happen next week in the sports world. But thank y'all again. Have a great week.
We love you, Josh Allen.